night there in Jammu. An unidentified drone, multiple of them spotted in the skies, that has triggered a massive security alarm across the region. In fact, we saw moments later a blackout in parts of Jammu and then some sounds of explosions. Of course, triggered some panic among the locals there. Loud bangs, possible missile strikes have been reported from multiple locations in and around Jammu, but as per our information, the Indian Army has managed to thwart them. Sources suggest that some aerial objects were witnessed and it was quickly intercepted mid-air. It was neutralized by India's anti-drone systems. But of course, we saw the city then plunge into darkness quite quickly. This marks yet another attempt by Pakistan now to escalate tensions, this time by trying to probe India's air defense preparedness. Of course, the reason to why Jammu is currently seeing sights like this could be quite clear. The region houses several vital military installations, including an Indian Air Force base, army logistics points, and high security CRPF camp. Security experts do believe that Pakistan may be testing India's radar coverage and strike readiness with these drone incursions. And as Aditya also mentioned, this could very well be possible that this is a diversionary tactic that Pakistan could be adopting as they prepare to possibly strike elsewhere in India. This is part of a larger escalation that's been brewing since Operation Sindhur that was launched and was a success. We're looking at the last 24 hours that has been tense. Pakistan has gone off on the line of control, erratic and aggressive firing. India has responded and reacted, striking drones across 25 locations in Pakistan. And here comes attack again from the Pakistan side. We're looking at India's targeted airstrikes in POJK and parts of Pakistan. Has led to now Pakistan responding with these drones. Will it have an effect on the ground, and how far will we see this continue and how long? Aditya, if you could jump in on this before I get to our panelists. Will this scene continue for longer? What do you tell and make of these images that we see on our screens?
I want to put out some breaking news here first, Nabila. I'm hearing from top sources, one, that the attack in Jammu has been foiled. There was a Pakistani drones attack that was attempting to cause damage at the Satwari Jammu airport, at the Sujowan military station adjacent, also of paramilitary camp in Arispura and other areas, residential civilian areas. But this attack has been foiled as of now. The administration is saying it is normal as of now, no more drones are being sighted, but clearly people are under panic, and that's why the blackout mode SOP is also underway. Electricity is completely off in Jammu. Apart from that, I've just received a detail, yet it's not confirmed, that one Pakistani F-16 has crashed, has been brought down somewhere in Rajasthan. I'm still saying that this is not confirmed. I'm trying to get more details, but one source is telling me that one F-16 is down in Rajasthan. We are trying to get more details on that. Once we have more clarity, we'll tell our viewers. But multiple drones have been brought down. Multiple Pakistani drones have been brought down in Jammu by our air defense mechanism, air defense systems. And currently there are no drones in the sky in Jammu or in Punjab. But multiple locations in Jammu as well as in Punjab have been attacked in this first leg of retaliation by Pakistan.
All right. If we could get our panelists to tell us a little more about what they think and how they would interpret these strikes from Pakistan. These drones that we see in the skies, we're looking at busy city limits, spotting this action in the sky. Of course, it's a nerve-wracking experience for those who are there witnessing something like this. How serious should we be taking this? What do you think India's response should be? Ambassador Prabhu, I'll start with you.
Well, India had said that if Pakistan takes steps which are escalatory in nature, then we will also be compelled to take such steps. So, if this is happening, now Pakistan has escalated the conflict. And naturally, as we have said, we will do the same. So, this escalation doesn't augur too well for the subcontinent, because there will be an increase in tensions. From the diplomatic point of view, it is not a good development. But nonetheless, now the ball is entirely in the court of the generals. They have to fashion out the course of action. The Prime Minister has already said that the defense forces have operational freedom, and this is necessary because it's only the defense chiefs who can decide what should be the course of action, how should they anticipate the threatening postures from Pakistan, what they should do to take care of the threats. So really speaking, from the diplomatic point of view, other than reaching out to other countries and telling them what the ground situation is, what we are saying and what we are wanting, what Pakistan is up to, I think other than that, the role of diplomacy at the moment has come down, and it's more the role of the generals, which now is going to be brought.
Let me bring in Colonel Anurag Awasthi, sir. Is it time for any diplomacy here, or this should be time for action? India has been indulging in one. Operation Sindoor was launched. It was a success, and we seem to be staring at a phase 2 of this very operation. In the last 24 hours, India has responded and attacked nearly 25 locations of Pakistan. And soon after, here's in the last 10 minutes, information coming in that Pakistan now reacts with these drone strikes in Jammu area. Do decode this for us. Why Jammu? What do you make of these visuals?
Right, Nabila, let me first come back to the, last night and what Pakistan has done trying to, attack 15 Indian locations and, met with stiff resistance and, taking a slap back. And therein after the Ministry of External Affairs briefing. See, you have to first decode this in terms of what the Pakistani establishment is today. Let's look at the targets which have been engaged in Operation Sindoor 1.0, that is on the first night, that is on the 7th night. They are Bahawalpur, Muridke, they are the epicenters of terrorism, they are the terror nurseries. Now, this has caused a massive amount of psychological effect, if nothing else. You leave the kinetics away from it. It's a psychological effect which the Pakistani establishment has now faced. Now, these famous, Christmas tree generals in the Pakistan army, as I call them, as well as the deep state in Pakistan, is really looking for what the answers are and how can they have a face saving in terms of, these attacks by India and the way India has actually prevailed over them with moral ascendancy of firepower as well as the targeting. Insofar as the Indian arms and armament is concerned.
Right.
Now,
so we do have some information that we are flashing on our screens as well, that there's been a drone attack in Jaisalmer. A little more elaborately on that. We're looking at Pakistan carrying out this attack on multiple locations. It seems like they're simultaneously attacking Jammu, Jaisalmer. What exactly is it that they want to convey?
They would possibly be looking at, as to checking what is the radar coverage. They would be probing as to where they are, because, if you look at Jaisalmer, you look at Jammu, literally they are quite close to the border. So essentially they are looking at the surface as to what the radar coverage is. They may also be looking as to what is the AD cover available. They may be trying to test, as Aditya also brought out earlier. Because at this juncture, they may not, take out their entire hand as to what the situation may be, tonight or maybe tomorrow or whichever way it is. But the sub-cheese of the entire situation, Nabila, as per me, is they are climbing up the escalatory ladder, which apparently in the present economic, social and the entire military scenario may not augur well with them and may fire back.
Sir, Wing Commander, as we see the visuals here, Praful Bakshi, if you can give us a little sense on India responding in 25 locations of Pakistan, our drones struck. In fact, there was significant damage. We saw the visuals that came in through the day today, and it happened after Pakistan attacked nearly 15 of our cities. So India has responded because of the kind of aggression shown by Pakistan. Do tell us a little more on what Pakistan's stance has been. They've often said that India has been attacking civilian establishments, that we are really pained by the fact that our the locals or the common man there is caught in this crossfire. They're showing visuals. They've been putting out visuals of a stadium in Rawalpindi that was attacked. These are not terror hideouts. According to Pakistan, this is an attack on their civilians, which is why they're responding. How would you decode that?
Thank you, Nabila. There is no need to actually decode. It is absolutely clear. Pakistan narrative is which suits them. And they know very well that India will hesitate because being a decent country. Let us not win any brownie points that we will not attack first. We will let them attack. Why should the enemy have initiative?
Yeah.
When the enemy has initiative, you are at a back foot. Start with this. It all happened. Jaisalmer is there. It happened in 1971. They had the initiative. We were caught on the back foot. Thanks to Air Force, we came out. But question is, what when the drones are being launched in Jammu, close, how much do you think the bases are there from where the launch is coming? Our intelligence should tell them that these are the launch base. We have to attack it straight away from where they have launched. Even if it is deeper in the Pakistan side, if the drone has come from there, it is a hostile terrain and we should straight away attack. It should be an aerial attack. We have sufficient surface-to-surface missiles. We have multi-barrel rocket launchers which have very high range. We have our artillery is over 40 kilometers. Where are we? Why are we shy in taking straight action? We have shown enough initiative. We have done it. Now that they have caught us at so many places, well, no harm has been done. But we should continue our aggressive initiative, not wait for them to attack. And we should
absolutely.
Our intelligence,
and I think India has already displayed that. Preemptive action was taken. If I could, in fact, hold on to you and your thoughts on that, I'm going to take viewers through our ground report on the blackout that currently prevails in Jammu after these drone strikes by Pakistan. Kumar Kundan brings us more.
इस वक्त आरएसपुरा में मौजूद हूं और आरएसपुरा में पूरा ब्लैकआउट है। सब कुछ बंद कर दिया गया है और बताया जा रहा है कि जो ड्रोन है उसको आरएसपुरा में इंटरसेप्ट किया गया और वहीं पे उसको न्यूट्रलाइज भी किया गया है। तो पूरा का पूरा आरएसपुरा जो इलाका है वो अभी तक ब्लैकआउट कर दिया गया है। दिन में मैं इसी इलाके में गया था, यहाँ पे आम लोगों को शाम में 4 बजे के बाद बोला गया था कि आप लोग सुरक्षित बंकरों में चले जाएं।
Okay, well, there we have it. A quick look at where blackouts have been reported. It's Jammu, of course. Blasts have been heard and drones were spotted. The air defense system has now been activated. Many of those drones have been thwarted. Now, could this have led to any damage? That's something that we've got to wait to understand. Those details are trickling in. We're going to establish for you very soon as to what has been the actual damage, or if there has been any damage at all. It's what we know so far that we present to you here on India thwarting those drones right in time. Our air defense systems are active. On our screens here, you see clearly Pakistan attempts Pathankot attack. We're looking at blasts that were heard in areas. Jammu completely blackout now. And our air defense system managing that's coming in, those drones that are being fired. Now, could there have been any damage, Wing Commander Bakshi? I cut you short. Could there have been any damage? Is it possible? I see multiple of those drones in those visuals there. What's the likelihood of damage in Jammu?
It all depends on what is the mode of control of the drone. If the drones are free drones or they are marked the targets and they are coming on the targets. It all depends on that. If they are swarm drones, they are all coming. They'll probably go into an area and damage an area. It means Pakistan does not mind attacking aerial, a large area. It means collateral damage.
Yeah.
That's about all. But let me ask, ma'am, are we ready? Because there will be so much of UXO, unexploded ordnance, and other things which will be lying around. Bomb disposal units, have we got ready the bomb disposal units, BDUs? What about the evacuation teams? What about the medical teams? These things have to be looked into also. I mean, at the moment, things are very nice.
Okay.
We are very happy that
we know that our army has been prepared, and it seems like they've been sharpening their arsenal for the last few days. Today as well, we hear in the latest, in fact, Aditya could give us a little more on the breaking that's come in, Aditya. 3 Pakistan drones have been shot down at the back gate of Jammu University. If you could elaborate a little on the breaking you've given.
Well, yes, the target of these swarm drones was the Jammu University. Apart from Jammu University, the Jammu railway station, that's not very far, and the Satwari Jammu airport. So all these three locations are very safe right now. There's no blast that has happened. The drones have been neutralized. That's the big development coming in. 3 drones have been neutralized, and as of now, we also know that in multiple other locations in Punjab, including Pathankot, there were similar drone attacks, but seems that has been neutralized as well. There are also now chatter that we are picking up that in Jaisalmer and Bikaner, which shares an international border with Pakistan, there seems to be some activity. Are there similar drone attacks? We'll know in a bit from now. But this was expected. This was on expected lines. As I said, blackout is underway in several areas of Jammu as well as in Punjab right now. Precautions are being taken. The Air Force, the Army, the paramilitary, and of course the civil defense, NDMA and NDRF are very much active for the people. For the people, appeal as well that do not panic, listen to the government, follow the SOPs, do not panic right now. That's not how we need to go about it. And while senior district administration officials at the divisional level have told me that as of now the attack seems to be over in Jammu. There's no drones that can be sighted in the night sky, but as a precautionary measure the blackout will continue for now.
Right. I'd like to bring in Air Marshal Rana. Sir, a little bit on your expertise. What do those drones do if they are not neutralized in time? Once they fall and they hit their target, how big can the damage be? It looks like a small, a little shining star in the night sky, but when it actually lands, what really is the damage?
Nabila, there are drones and there are drones. We have been seeing it in Ukraine-Russia warfare. There are drones from $50, this thing which you can pick up from market, wrap up a grenade and launch it. And then there are sophisticated ones which has great navigation systems and a good amount of load and the deception measures and likewise. So there are different categories. These, in my opinion, are the one which are more of a nuisance and more of a probing of the air defense. In today's drone era warfare, this has become a big question. Would you spend a hugely expensive missile to down a drone? And because as far as the air defense is concerned, it just presents you a target. Would you expend that expensive missile on this? It could be the enemy's design that you are sending a swarm drone or drones in, basically saturating your air defense systems and forcing you to, actually utilize your all that hugely expensive air defense missiles, and thereafter once you have spend a large force, then probably come out with the attack from the more expensive missiles and the fighter aircraft. So this is very difficult to say what are the kind of damages it would cause. It would all depend, like Wing Commander Bakshi also said, it all depends what is the kind of ammunition that it is carrying. So it could also be that within a swarm drone there could be a really a useful drone which could take out your very, very important target. But in general, the thing you cannot really say that what is the kind of damage it would do. It can just be a minor explosive, and if it gets into a real target, it can cause a huge damage. But there are sophisticated drone missiles mix, like if I can call that, what we did today to their air defense systems are the very sophisticated kamikaze drones, which are actually drone missiles, which goes like a drone and hits like a missile.
Those are nearly like suicide bombers.
Absolutely. So they are kamikaze suicide. The thing. So when Pakistan said we nullified all those 25 drones, actually those were meant to destroy themselves onto their targets, and that's what the job they have done. So they have done a huge damage. So that's what I'm saying. There are drones and there are drones. What from Pakistan as of now is
the swarm drones that are coming in from Pakistan right now?
are mainly, I personally feel they are coming more for probing. Like Aditya said, they are wanting to see what is the kind of your air defense response is, what the kind of your detection capability is, what's the kind of response mechanism you would have. And I think our air defense side should be very, very careful in assessing, in neutralizing. There are small arms which can neutralize these small drones. So not necessarily that you have to go whole hog on your full-fledged air defense missile system to alert for these.
Yeah.
Because in warfare, every time you open up a radar, you open up a missile system, there are signatures that are being taken by the enemy. And this is, I'm sure, precisely what they are doing with their airborne platforms or with their ground-based platforms. I'm sure they are monitoring what are the kind of air defense systems that you have opened up to all this, and probably wanting to pan out what is the kind of air defense orbit you have. So it is a battle of wits, and I think the real thing would come much later. Maybe tonight, maybe this thing, but this, in my opinion, are more of nuisance attack and more of a probing attacks.
Stay with us. I'm going to quickly cut across to Mehraj Ahmed, our correspondent right on the ground in Jammu, to give us a little more in detail on the situation. It is a panic situation for the locals there, but it seems like the danger is out now. As per our authorities, they've very clearly said no more drones have been spotted as I speak, real time. Let's have a look.
जम्मू के एयरपोर्ट के आसपास बड़े धमाके सुने गए थे, जिसके बाद जो वहां पे स्थानीय लोग हैं वो काफी डरे सहमे थे। बता दें आपको कि जम्मू के कुछ क्षेत्रों में जो है नेटवर्क भी अभी प्रभावित हुआ है, हालांकि जो है ब्लैकआउट कर दिया गया है। तो निसंदेह ये जो बताया जा रहा है ड्रोन और मिसाइल से कलेक्टिवली जो था ये बताया जा रहा है कि ये हमला था, जिसको जो है एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम ने जो है विफल बना दिया है। लेकिन बता दें अभी भी जो है कुछ ड्रोन्स ऐसे भी आसमान में अभी है जिनको अभी जो एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम है वो निष्क्रिय कर रहा है। तो बता दें कि जम्मू के साथ साथ अब कश्मीर में भी जो इंपॉर्टेंट इंस्टॉलेशंस हैं सेना के, उनमें भी जो है अभी ब्लैकआउट कर दिया गया है। तो निसंदेह बता दें कि अभी जो जम्मू के बाद अरनिया, उसके बाद आरएसपुरा और उसके बाद पठानकोट कहीं ना कहीं सीरीज लग रही है। और बता दें 1 दर्जन से ज्यादा, जैसा हमारे सहयोगी सुमित बता रहे थे, 1 दर्जन से ज्यादा ड्रोन जो है वो देखे गए, उनकी मूवमेंट देखी गई है।
Right there. Yeah, we have a lot more information that's now trickling in on the multiple drones that have been fired by Pakistan. It appears India has responded not just with air defense systems but air defense guns. That's what we hear, and like very rightly, like our general said, that India is exploring multiple options in responding, and it seems like air defense guns have been pulled out to strike at some low-flying drones. Aditya, would you want to add more?
Well, as of now, I can tell you that it's a very fluid situation. You know, there are some sources telling me that there have been fresh blasts heard in Jammu, but otherwise, the government authorities in Jammu had told me that there's a blackout in place and no drones are visible. There's a lot of misinformation and propaganda also happening from the Pakistani side, so we need to be careful about that. Apart from that, I've checked about Jaisalmer and Bikaner. There's been no attack as of now there, but blackout SOPs are being followed. So 3 different states in India right now, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab and Rajasthan. That's where the blackout measures are in place. That means electricity will remain off until further orders, and people are advised to stay indoors, remain there, don't remain on open areas, etc. And especially this is for people who stay near the borders. The modus operandi of Pakistanis has been, of course, to launch these attacks to scare people, spread panic and also cause damage. One of the main targets could have been the vital installations as well as military stations, as my fellow panelist has been talking about, through check the response mechanism capabilities as well of the air defense. I'm pretty sure that we are very much capable, from S-400 to Akash to other mechanisms that we have in place that were used perhaps yesterday as well when Pakistan tried to launch an attack on our cities. But currently, in several areas of Jammu and Kashmir and as well as in Punjab, these drones were visible. They have been neutralized mostly. If at all there's been any damage or not will be clear perhaps in a few hours from now, when an analysis is being done by the authorities and the police locally. As of now, I'm also being told now that in Amritsar, There were drones that were spotted, red flares that were spotted as well over Jaisalmer. But as of now, no major attack that's been seen in Amritsar or in Jaisalmer or in Bikaner as of now.
Well, this is clearly shocking that this has come at this point where India has very clearly said that the attack and response to Pahalgam was India striking some of the terror launch pads in Pakistan. Now, we saw how those same terrorists got state honors. Their funerals were carried out with state honors. Their army and their military in Pakistan were very much there. Literally part of the funeral, saluting the convoy of those terrorists. So we really see that the army, the military in Pakistan have been hand in glove, and now that's been thoroughly exposed. And while India was getting back at those terrorists for what they did in Pahalgam, here's what we see. Pakistan refusing to, 1, admit, 2, playing the victim card, 3, carrying out heavy shelling and firing along the line of control, killing Indian civilians, and then claiming that India has been violating international law. Here we're looking at Pakistan, in fact, striking at our international border. Ambassador Prabhu, our international border has been targeted.
Yes, indeed. You know, when conflicts break out, then anything can happen. And escalation is always expected. Now, as I said in my first intervention, all the key decisions will have to be made by the chiefs of the 3 defense services. They know and they can understand what is happening. Now, for instance, you are showing a lot of things on the screen, but a layman like me can hardly interpret what is happening. It is only the defense specialists who can understand, interpret, and decide the course of action. So, once operational freedom had been given to the 3 service chiefs, it was clear that the matter was being left to them. And in this particular instance, now with some escalation having taken place, it is the 3 service chiefs who will be the key decision makers. They will decide to what extent they can go and how they have to strike the weapon systems which Pakistan is targeting against us. I may also mention that as far as the rest of the world is concerned, it would not like an escalation, because an escalation of the war between India and Pakistan can be very dangerous. So I expect that the UN Security Council would be convened soon, and that it will surely urge both sides to exercise restraint and not to allow escalation. But warfare has its own momentum, and how quickly things can be restrained, one doesn't know. Now, for instance, in the case of the Russia-Ukraine war, it's gone on for so many days, and the same is the case with the Israel-Hamas war. I hope that the situation between India and Pakistan does not escalate to that extent, but quite frankly, it is the service chiefs who are best in a position to decide what they should do and what is the best for the country.
Stay with us. I'm going to quickly cut across to a local resident there in Jammu who's witnessed this drone strike by Pakistan. He's actually taken a video while narrating what he sees. Let's hear it.
आप फायरिंग की आवाज सुन रहे हैं। देखिए, ये रोशनी गोले और फायर जो है वो चल रहे हैं इस समय मेरे आंखों के बिल्कुल सामने। मैं ये सुन रहा हूँ और देख रहा हूँ। मेरी आंखों के सामने छोटे बड़े हथियारों का इस्तेमाल राजौरी शहर के अंदर जो है वो किया जा रहा है। शहर के लोग इस समय डरे हुए हैं। मेरे आंखों के सामने आपने खुद इस समय सुना होगा जब हम ये लाइव दे रहे हैं, और ये आप फायरिंग की आवाज सुन रहे हैं। देखिए, ये रोशनी गोले और फायर जो है वो चल रहे हैं इस समय मेरे आंखों के बिल्कुल सामने। मैं ये सुन रहा हूँ और देख रहा हूँ। मेरी आंखों के सामने छोटे बड़े हथियारों का इस्तेमाल राजौरी शहर के अंदर जो है वो किया जा रहा है। शहर के लोग इस समय डरे हुए हैं। मेरे आंखों के सामने आपने खुद इस समय सुना होगा जब हम ये लाइव दे रहे हैं, और ये
Well, that's really panic that's gripped locals there. Aditya, we saw the man there taking a video and he shows the drones that he see. I'm sure people of Jammu also haven't seen something like this, not in the recent past. A whole generation has possibly passed since any kind of tensions prevail in that zone. So this could very well be the first that people in Jammu have seen something like this. At least I have.
Well, those in their 50s and 60s right now perhaps would be remembering some faint memories of 1965, where Jammu played a very critical role. But certainly, I can certainly only imagine what the common people in Jammu would be going through. I'm receiving multiple videos from people all across Jammu since I belong to that state. But as of now, you know, we are being told that in some areas of Jammu, the drones are still visible. There are blasts that are still happening, and it's a grim situation right now. No major damage has been reported as of now, but certainly a major attack launched by Pakistan, a major escalation, a major violation of ceasefire as well, because along with these drones, there's heavy artillery fire and shelling and firing that can be heard.
And like you did say, two F-17s of Pakistan has been shot down by India. It's a confirmation that's come in. Aditya, would we know more about this? Two of Pakistan's fighter jets has been shot down. Which location, if you could elaborate?
Well, as of now, it's not clear, but I'm trying to pick up more details and I'll see what's happening on that front. But certainly a major attack as of now that's been launched by Pakistan. I'm pretty sure this is a diversionary tactic and there could be a major attack in some other area, but a massive escalation, that's for sure. It's a long night ahead because for the authorities, for the forces, the top priority would be to neutralize any further threats for the civilians and of course ensure that there are no casualties that take place.
You know, some visuals that's seen here show that our Indian forces have very aptly and strategically struck at those drones. If I could bring our panelists here to give us a little more. General Bakshi, your take on this, Wing Commander Bakshi, your take on the kind of precision response that India has carried out by actually intercepting those drones right in time. We're seeing some of those drones actually go off.
Absolutely right. Nabila, it's a matter of, I must congratulate them that with alacrity they have worked. If they have intercepted the drones, very good. But let me tell you one thing, we don't have to get very worried about drones because what is the armament they carry? I mean, yes, we should shoot them down, there's no doubt about it, but they should not be unnecessarily scared. The public must be told that yes, we must avoid them, we should shoot them down, okay. But the question is, our system, the SOPs must go further than that we have to now pick up from where the drones are being launched. When they are being launched, we have to straightaway destroy that place. And now the time to come, that anti has risen, we have to occupy that place. We should not just do a strike and come back. We have to strike and occupy. I personally feel now our Ministry of Defense and Army must update their requirements of this war objective, and we must start taking our POK now. That is the right moment. The iron is hot. We have to strike it. But question is, how long will we wait? If we wait further, the initiative will go into Pakistan's hand. So that's what is there. And by the way, we are talking of JF-17 which have been shot down. We must congratulate them if it is true. We want to know.
We hear that. In fact, Colonel Anurag Awasthi, do you want to give us a little more on the two JF-17 that's been shot down by India? Pakistan's jets have been struck down. This is what we hear. We're yet to get more confirmation on this. But of course, this is all fog of war. We will not know a lot of the information that may have gone by. A lot of activity that may have gone by. Information was very limited that we could access. So the limited information that we have on JF-17s, how powerful are they? What does it do to Pakistan's arsenal? How does it add to it? Should we be worried?
It's a great thing, Nabila, that two JF-17s have been shot down by India. The first thing is they are Chinese made and they have enough capabilities which essentially can do a lot of damage. That is one. The second thing is that if Pakistan is admitting that two JF-17s are shot down, in this era of misinformation and social media, I'm sure there are more which have been shot down. That is for certain. Now the second part is coming down to these drones that we've been speaking for a very long time. Drones, Nabila, are very low cost and high visibility weapon systems, if I may use them loosely. The issue is that you need to look at the targets that which possibly they would assume and which would be selected for these drones to create panic or possibly cause kinetic destruction. The second thing is we have to understand that they are being launched from not too far. They can't be launched from very far. The way they have been shown on the visuals, which are some kind of swarm drones. So they have a limited loiter timing, they have limited endurance to be in the air, and they have limited payload. So they're not too far. So that area possibly by this time would have already been identified as to where they're coming from and what needs to be done with them. Now, the third part is that, we've been speaking earlier that, the AD guns have come out and all of that. The entire AD grid, insofar as the deployability is concerned, is always in a grid of gun missile combination. So it caters to whatever weapon system is best for a target. So either way, I think the probing response, whichever is being asked for by Pakistan, they will not get the way it is. The last part is, since this wave, you may use it, if I don't think it is a wave of small drones. There may be more sporadic waves coming in the next couple of hours in case they want to test the Indian air defense systems, or they want to test the Indian resolve of what the other radar coverage, etc., etc. Right? So there is no need to unnecessarily be too worried about this these swarm drones. And the last part is about these loiter munitions. To my mind, I don't think Pakistan has loiter munitions in its inventory. So what we have. So I don't think that there is a major cause to worry insofar as these drones are concerned. Yes, they will cause a little bit of psychological effect, of course, especially with the blackouts. But I think there is something more to it. It doesn't look like the main. It looks like either a subsidiary or a diversionary kind of a tactic by the Pakistan Army or the ground forces.
All right. We see more information that's trickling in, Aditya. We hear more information as per what you flashed on 8 missiles from Pakistan that's directed at Satwari, Samba, Arispura and Arnia. This is where they had directed it. How has it been handled?
Well, 8 missiles have been intercepted and blocked. That's I'm hearing from top Indian Army sources. This is verified information and directly from the Indian Army sources. 8 missiles from Pakistan directed at Satwari, that's the Jammu airport, Samba on the outskirts of the Jammu city, and Arispura and Arnia, that's bang on the international border, have been blocked and intercepted by air defense units. Visuals over Jammu remind exactly of the Hamas-style attack on Israel, like multiple cheap rockets have been thrown. And this is what was my first reaction in my first phono during breaking this entire story. So the assessment of the Indian Armed Forces and the intelligence is that the Pakistan Army is operating and behaving like a terror organization, Hamas. And last month, you would remember that ISI and Hamas had met in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and clearly can be understood and taken this forward. But currently, this attack is certainly underway, and we will certainly get more details as to how things are currently moving forward.
This is certainly chilling. Ambassador Prabhu, please do step in on how Pakistan is violating international law, striking at our international borders. Do you believe that they will be able to justify this?
Well, they have escalated. And once war breaks out, then, all the rules of conflict are out of play. The assailants can do anything. Now, Aditya was absolutely right that nothing really can be said about the direction which this conflict is going to take in the next few days, how much it will escalate. It's a guessing game at this stage. But there is no doubt these are tense times in which we are now living.
This is certainly tense times. In fact, I have with me also Kabir Naqvi, who could give us a little sense on the areas that are currently impacted. Kabir, over to you. We know Jammu is facing a blackout, and these are images that are panic-inducing.
Well, absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't it induce panic? But I think Aditya, right at the beginning of the show, sent that actual and the right message that had to go out, which was that there is no need to panic at this point in time. The Indian Armed Forces, they're doing the best that they can. We've seen it time and again. Only yesterday, we completely neutralized the aerial threat coming in from Pakistan, 15 different projectiles. And let me quickly show you once again what these projectiles mean, because we also essentially attacked the entire length and breadth, this entire area. You had Bahawalpur to this side, which was the farthest most attack of Operation Sindoor. And let me also tell you, these are the prime locations that Pakistan projectiles tried to attack this time around, from Kupwara up top, where we also heard artillery fire. And that's not all. You've got Poonch, Rajouri, in Jammu, which again, we've been telling all our viewers is a very strategic point, because the Jammu airport also acts as a, Indian Air Force base. You've got all of these strategic viewpoints, strategic military installations that are in Jammu. They're situated in Jammu. So on that priority list of what had to be safeguarded, what did not, Jammu was actually right up there. But then again, take a look at this. You've got Udhampur, you've got Akhnur, you've got Jammu, Pathankot, Kathua, you've got Amritsar. Now we're talking about Jammu and Kashmir. We're also looking at Punjab. And whilst we're talking about Punjab, Jaisalmer and Barmer, two more places in the deep western sector as well. So earlier we were thinking whether this is going to be a decoy or not, but clearly they've attacked this entire periphery as well. The entire, right from Jammu and Kashmir, right up till Rajasthan is where the attack happened. And it seems like we've foiled at least 98% of those attacks. Of course, still early doors. We'll need to understand what kind of damage we've, incurred on our side. But needless to say, the S-400 and our aerial defense systems, they've been working absolutely fine throughout. Nabila, that's the situation that looks like right now. 25 minutes of Operation Sindoor, about an hour-long operation today. And now, this operation by Pakistan, whether it's ended or not, we don't have clear-cut information on that. Yeah. But that's the expanse of their target in India.
Right. We're in fact happy to welcome on board General Raina, who's currently based in Jammu. He could give us a little sense on what the situation is right now. Thank you very much. We know it's tense, General Raina. Could you describe, Colonel Raina, could you describe exactly what we see in Jammu? Visuals are incriminating. We know India has handled it, but did you witness it firsthand?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I was out on the road crossing the bridge on the River Tavi when it happened around 8:10 in the evening. And the last one we heard a couple of blasts about 10 minutes back. No, this is Dugardesh. We don't really care. Every house has a soldier here. So, in fact, my own house is only 6 kilometers from line of control. My parents are living even today there. There is no panic here. People, of course, using their own minds and initiative, they switched off lights for a while. But nowadays, everybody's got inverters at home, so switching off light actually doesn't work. But things are calm. This was expected, more so because till about a couple of years back, Jammu airport had been visited by Pakistani drones a number of times, which you all will remember.
If I could, for the moment, hold on to your thoughts. Some big news that's coming in on Delhi versus Punjab IPL match in Dharamsala has been cancelled. This was expected. We could very well see a lot more fallout of which coming to fore. That could very well mean some flights could be cancelled. Aditya could probably pitch in on whether Jammu's airport will be closed. If matches are being cancelled, I could only imagine even flights will now have to cease.
Nabila, Jammu, Srinagar and several other airports are already shut right now for civilian traffic. There's only Indian Air Force activity that's underway in Jammu, Srinagar, in several other bases as well, including Chandigarh, Amritsar and Pathankot. So no civilian traffic, at least for the next couple of days. That's what the scenario would be. We also know that there's been continuous, blasts that have been heard. Latest information is that there is a sense of calm right now. There's an eerie calm in Jammu. No more blasts being heard. But at the LOC, there's heavy artillery fire. There's heavy firing that's underway between the Pakistan Army and the Indian Army. There's a ceasefire violation that's taken place, and Pakistan Army not just violating the ceasefire, but also, in fact, has been trying to attack the civilians. So there's a big development. Of course, Dharamshala is also one of the airports in Kangra that has been shut right now. It's not very far from the Pakistani border. And as I said, Pakistan would be launching multiple attacks. I still believe that this could be a diversionary tactic. The main attack could come later at a different location.
Right. Kabir, please jump in on this breaking that we have now on the IPL match in Dharamsala that's now been cancelled. Delhi versus Punjab IPL match now stands cancelled. India, of course, is also altering a lot of games, a lot of activity due to this tense, hostile situation between the two countries. It's impacted one of the IPL matches. Could this have a trickle-down effect?
No, certainly it could. I mean, if you're looking at one of these IPL matches being called off, what stops the Indian government from calling off the other IPL matches? Mind you, Rawalpindi Stadium, where the Pakistan Super League was supposed to take place, Peshawar was supposed to play Karachi today. Rawalpindi was attacked in one of those, drone attacks, Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium.
Yeah.
So in that tit-for-tat affair, I mean, an attack could be coming Dharamshala's way as well. So I think that
we've
it is
got
a
to be
precautionary
careful,
measure.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We must. And who's to say that right now all the other upcoming matches, even though this was going to be a nail-biting affair, this was the business end of the IPL season. But then again, we are in the middle of a clearly escalatory war.
All right, Colonel Raina, over to you. Give me what you saw, a little more on what you saw today. The fact that you've been part of the army, you might say this is not much to worry about. But for a common person, including myself, I'm worried. Those images don't look pleasing at all. Possibly the first time that we've seen this so glaringly on Indian skies.
Yeah, like I told you, my house is where my parents are staying today, 6 kilometers from LOC. So most of us are actually a bit used to sounds of gunfire.
Yeah.
Artillery was quiet for many years, so of course it started again, reminds of old days. One is the mental, the psychological preparation. At least people of my generation who live here, they were expecting this. I can't really say the same for many youngsters who are possibly busy with other things. So we were expecting it. Like I said, till 2 years back, there were drones visiting us in Jammu airport. So this was due. Last night, when Vaishno Devi lights were switched off, first time in our life, we saw Vaishno Devi dark and blacked out in the night. So we knew things were coming up. Then morning we got up and we heard that attacks been foiled. So that confidence which we have, I tell you a very funny thing. There are soldiers sitting here, they'll agree with me. When we were front lines, I took part in Kargil war. So my worry used to be, okay, we have weapons, we are sitting in the trenches, we'll fight it out. But what happens to people back home? Not my own family, everybody else. All cities, like you said, everybody is sitting anywhere in the country who's not on the front lines. He's vulnerable to aerial attacks and things like that. But last night when we had the confirmed information that between 12 and 2 there was something going to happen. So at 2:30 when nothing happened, so we went back to sleep and I said, okay, thank God we have a system in place, whether you call it S-400 or you have a combination of other air defense systems, that we are feeling safe. So that's people who understand, like I said, every house has a soldier here across Jammu, practically. So we understand that there's a safety net which was earlier not there. So combination of that and there's some spirit. Every town, every city has every community has a kind of innate spirit.
Yeah.
So Dogras have their own. So I think it's okay. It's very cool outside. No issue at all.
Very cool outside. Aditya, you're, that's home turf for you as well.
Well, not just a home turf,
Yeah.
but I salute. He's a soldier and a Kashmiri. I salute him for his commitment, dedication. That's the spirit that's required. And it's not just about a veteran. People in Jammu and Kashmir, people all across the border areas in Jammu and Kashmir, in Punjab, in Rajasthan, who are facing this entire attack from Pakistan, are standing boldly, are standing to a bully who's using proxy war and terrorism against India. And India is certainly not going to look the other way. We had a similar Kashmiri a few hours back, Vikram Misri, issuing a warning to Pakistan that we are aware that you are up to something, you will retaliate, but we will not look the other way. For whatever happens next, the consequences would be on Pakistan. So as of now, Nabila, there is a sense of eerie calm right now in Jammu. I'm being told that no more drones are visible. Whatever drones were there, at least 3 to 4 of them, or 8 actually, have been thwarted.
Yeah.
Also in Punjab as well, similar situation, as well as in Rajasthan. There are blackout measures as well.
So according to you, we have heard of attacks or drone strikes in Jammu, in Punjab and in Rajasthan.
Yes,
So
and also very interestingly, the Pakistani DG ISPR is calling up all his journalists who, read his script and, report that Pakistan has nothing to do with these drone attacks. So you can imagine what Pakistan's game plan really could be. Pakistan is denying that it has any role to play in these drones. But as pointed out by one of the panelists here, a couple of years ago, there was huge panic because 1 or 2 drones had landed at the Jammu Satwari airport. They were spotted there, and it led to an NIA investigation as well. At that time, the security corridors woke up to a situation where Pakistan might be using drones. And these drones clearly remind me, since I've covered the Israel-Hamas conflict as well.
Yeah.
Similar kind of approach of drones and very cheap rockets coming from across the border in Gaza towards Israel. Similar situation here, where the Pakistani terrorists led by their masterminds, Pakistan Army, is firing similar cheap rockets and drones towards India. But India's mechanism is very strong. Capability is can't be compared with a state like Pakistan that believes in terrorism as a state policy. But here things are calm. It's important to say that, because things are calm. We're not going on a war mode. We do not want a war, but we will certainly respond strongly if at all there is further civilian killing, provocations, or in fact even attack on any vital installations.
Well, this is, and at this point, there's been a barrage of misinformation. It's so hard for us to also segregate, out of that, the flood of information that's coming in on what's fake, what's propaganda, what's the fact. But of course, we're going to stick as much as possible to the information that's coming in from our forces, the formal information that was given, and that was very clearly established today by Vikram Misri itself on India striking at 25 locations in Pakistan, and it was largely terror launch pads and hideouts. Also exposing how Pakistan Army is clearly hand in glove with their terror outfits, because they were seen they were given state honors during their funerals. This is the situation as we see in Jammu that pans out. I'd like to ask our Air Marshal here on the panel, sir. We hear that at least 4 loitering munitions have been used to target Jammu. If you could break it down for us in simple words for the common man, what that means. What is that ammunition?
See, the loitering munition primarily is the one which is launched and loiters over the target area for a very, very long time. The duration and the capability could be from 2 hours to 9, 10, and even some recent ones also up to 15 hours. So generally, these munitions have the sensors which wait for the target which has been assigned to it to trigger. Like I was saying earlier, that when these radars are emitting, then immediately that it senses and that it homes on and destroys the target system. This is in all likelihood was utilized to destroy all the air defense systems of the reportedly what all the air defense systems in Pakistan today have been done. The HQ-9 reportedly at Lahore also had this. So these are the very smart munitions which have, like I covered earlier, is like a combination of a drone and a missile. It flies like a drone and acts like a missile. But over and above that, when we talk about loitering, then it loiters over the area for very, very long time, generally 8 to 9 hours it can home on, and wait for that system to get activated. And the moment that system gets activated, it homes onto the energy and destroys the targets. So that is how it is. And I'm sure if there are 4 loitering munitions that were over Jammu and we have been able to neutralize it, I think it's kudos to the air defense network of India.
Well, kudos to our systems here. Now, when you say the air defense systems are active, is it a physical defense system? How is it? Is it visible to the common eye? Would you want to elaborate a little more on our technique?
I think this is very important thing to understand. Not very many people have a very clear idea what does the air defense system mean. Primarily, air defense system is the integrated system, which is the network of radars which are integrated. They have a communication network. They have a command and control centers. In command and control centers, the integrated picture from all the sensors, including the AWACS, ground radars, and all that comes. There, the next process is taken, which is of the identification based on the track behavior, based on the other inputs. There is the detailed process of identification, which identifies whether this track is a hostile or a friendly. It's a very critical process. And having identified a hostile with its intent or its flight trajectory, then it is assigned to a weapon system like S-400, the ACAS, the AD artillery guns, and the army missiles. So it could be any of these weapons that are deployed in a gap-free manner. Radars are deployed in a gap-free manner. The integrated picture which comes sees that complete airspace, and that's how the airspace management is done. And having decided that this is the hostile, then it is assigned to a appropriate weapon system. So when we say every time S-400 has neutralized, it's not like that. S-400 is one of the systems. There are MRSAMs, there are AKAs, there are shoulder-fired missiles, there are AD guns. So then there are fighter aircrafts as well. So it could be that the fighter aircrafts are taken for the interception, but as of now, that has not come into the play yet. That is even more complex warfare. Once it gets into between the aircraft, then it is even more complex. But this information, I would want to decipher the two JF-17 that reportedly have been shot is something intriguing, because if they were coming to an attack and then they have been neutralized, that means that Pakistan has already planned to do the airstrikes. It is complex then, but our other option, scenario could be that we picked up their hostile intent inside their territory and we assigned this to our missile system, which are capable of doing the entire depth of Pakistan. So we'll have to wait and watch what exactly was this.
Right.
But enough for me to say that today our capability is that we can pick up deep inside Pakistan and we can strike deep inside Pakistan immediately after that aircraft or the missile is airborne.
Right. So hold on to that. I will cut across to Kabir to give us a little sense as we've drawn out graphically on the areas that Pakistan intends to target. Kabir, please take it away. 8 missiles from Pakistan directed at multiple locations which the Indian Army has handled very well. Would you want to break that down? What are those
absolutely.
areas?
I mean, of course, Aditya has been helping us out with those prime locations, but I think we have now pinpoint accuracy on those. 8 missiles from Pakistan, they targeted India. We're essentially talking about Satwari, Samba, Arispura, another strategic, importance from the military prowess point of view, and Arnia as well. And of course, all Pak missiles, they've been intercepted, blocked by our air defense units, which is again what we've been saying from the get-go, that our air defense systems, they have held strong. This is the second time they've done so. 15 projectiles yesterday, and all these plethora of projectiles today in the swarm drone style attack. All Pakistani missiles have been intercepted, blocked by our air defense units. And if you look at some of those visuals as well, that you see them flying across the Jammu night sky, you've got some of those visuals as well. It does bring back those memories of how in the Jordanian skies, take a look at some of these. Take a look at some of these visuals. How they're flying in swarms does refresh our memories as to how Hamas attacked, Israel, how rockets from Gaza, from Iran-backed proxies were launched towards Israel. Take a look at that. You've got the air defense systems that have been activated. Take a look at that, a small visual over there. This is blackout in Jammu. You've got blasts that have been heard in Jammu, and Pakistan's attempt at Pathankot that was neutralized as well. Now, Aditya, if I'm not wrong, just a couple of days back, you had the ISI and Hamas also meeting up in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. At least that's what, some source-based information is telling us. And take a look at this attack. If I can draw that limited opinion, it's that Pakistan is using a Hamas-style attack to target India.
Absolutely. This isn't new. This is straight from the booklet of Hamas. There are videos that came out of at least 3 to 4 Hamas leaders just a couple of months back, actually sitting with members of the Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed in Rawalakot of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And while reporting on that, I had written an article for News9 that India should be prepared for a new wave of jihadist terror in Kashmir Valley. In fact, I can tell you here now that we are in the middle of this conflict, there is a senior diplomat from Israel who was visiting India. I was meeting him for dinner, and he had warned me that this meeting that is happening in Rawalakot should not be taken lightly. There is something in the offing, something is likely to happen, and now we know what's happening. But as of now, the main point that came out also from the press conference today by Vikram Misri, the Foreign Secretary of India, was that India did not escalate. India, in fact, believed in peace. India did not want that kind of a terror attack. But it was Pakistan that led to this massive escalation when the Pahalgam terror attack happened. 26 innocent tourists killed brutally. And that's how the escalation ladder has been scaled by Pakistan itself. Further to those killings of 26 civilians, another 16 civilians have been killed in Poonch. Again, I've been re-emphasizing, India is a secular country. There are unfortunately victims who are Sikh, so who are Hindu, who are Muslims in the attack in Poonch. Very brutally, a Gurdwara, a holy place of worship, has been completely destroyed in this attack by Pakistan. And again, now that India has responded the way it did this morning and the late last night, again, a barrage of swarm drones have been launched in Jammu, in several areas of Punjab. And now we are witnessing that there could be further retaliation. I am aware that this is an ongoing fluid situation, and Pakistan.
All right, we have some reaction by the United States. Secretary Mark Rubio, who's responded, saying there should be de-escalation immediately, of course, directing dialogue between India and Pakistan. That's max at the best what every country across the globe has said.
Nabila, Marco Rubio is also the de facto national security advisor of the United States as well. So him making that call to Jaishankar, and of course Jaishankar today spoke to the foreign counterpart, Chinese foreign minister as well, again reiterating the same thing. We're not looking for any escalation, but if there is any escalation from the other side of the border, then retaliation will come in the same vein and tone.
So Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has also called for an emergency meeting. So it seems like certainly India is calibrating, bringing together all its forces and its top officials to see how best we can protect our nation. Rajnath Singh, the Defence Minister, today said and reiterated a little earlier today that India has responded in measure on terror targets. It was a very precise and strategic strike against Pakistan. It was not arbitrary, it was well thought out, unlike what Pakistan is doing. Pakistan is attacking civilian areas. Aditya, if you want to bring in your view on that, we are looking at Pakistan shelling and firing aggressively at the line of control. Civilians have died. We're looking at Pakistan attacking through these drones in areas of Jammu. Their targets also quite clear, as Kabir listed out. So it seems like Pakistan at this point is aiming at civilians. We have no terror hideouts here in India. What are they going to target?
Well, Pakistan is known for false flag operations. Whatever is happening in Balochistan by Baloch rebels, because they feel subjugated under the tyranny of Pakistan. They have faced human rights violations and abductions and enforced disappearances over the years, and Pakistan has been falsely blaming India for that without even a shred of evidence. I believe that apart from the attacks that are happening on vital installations, on specific religious communities, apart from that, there could be attack on a certain isolated area in Rajasthan or Gujarat or elsewhere where the Pakistanis would claim that this was a Baloch training camp. I have a firm belief, because the Pakistan ISI on social media has been trying to build up this narrative for days together. So we'll wait and watch how that retaliation really happens. But this swarm drone attack is in itself a major retaliation against India, and as the government of India had already warned that if there is a retaliation, we have a plan B ready for every inch that Pakistan enters, for every dare that Pakistan challenges us with. We will have a strong response against them. Today they were shocked when our attack happened not just in Lahore or in LOC or border areas, but deep inside the home ground of Asim Munir in Rawalpindi.
Right. We just have news coming in that a drone attack has been thwarted. It's been struck down and foiled by India, which was aimed at Vaishno Devi Shrine. That is huge. We know that the religious procession was to begin very soon. This was also aimed very clearly at that time of the year when you have devotees coming into Vaishno Devi Shrine. And here we hear India has foiled the attempt of a drone strike on Vaishno Devi Shrine. Colonel Raina, if you can come in on this. Vaishno Devi, possibly the busiest time of the year this time. The Pahalgam attacks itself, since it was targeted specifically on Hindu men, clearly gives us every signal that a place like Vaishno Devi could be at risk. And here we know and confirmed reports telling us that a drone was aimed at Vaishno Devi Shrine and India has managed to foil it.
People who saw today a video released by Pakistan Army, I call him Mullah Munir, speaking to rangers with the Molvi in attendance. And if we get back to speech which he gave other day against ranting against Hinduism and two-nation theory, so this is expected. Their attempt to attack Golden Mandir, Harmandir Sahib last night, was another indication, and their actual attack in Poonch on a Gurudwara, killing 3 people, including Granthi, that has made it very clear that he wants to convert this whole thing into a jihad, because once you are on a losing side, you don't have enough ammunition to fight, and your country is divided vertically. Blocs have their own thing, KPK is doing something else, that even Islamabad mosque is saying something else. So you try to create that kind of frenzy and that kind of fanatism, and so he's giving a color of jihadism. As far as Vaishno Devi is concerned, last night, like I said, there was a blackout, first time we saw in our lives, and of course, in addition to Vaishno Devi, in fact, my personal assessment is they will try some stunt on some temple in Gujarat, trying to target the top leadership which comes from that state. Dams is another thing which we should be very cautious, because when you don't have targets, like we don't have terror camps here, like you rightly said, so you look for bahana, you say, okay, India is stopping our water, so we're going to demolish the dams. So these are things which are expected. And one last thing, Aditya ji, I'll tell you, I am a Dogra, I am actually not a Kashmiri. I am from POJK, originally from Bagh, now settled in Jammu.
But the spirit remains the same, and I salute you for that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. We also have Dr. P.K. Mishra, who's on board with us. Sir, give us your sense on what you see here. News that's trickling in on a drone attack that's been foiled on Vaishno Devi Shrine. It was aimed at that, and India has managed to handle it. But we're looking at these visuals that are panic-inducing. Multiple of those drones, which we've never seen on Indian skies for the first time. Pakistan really riding up the escalation ladder.
No doubt, a lot of drones were fired by Pakistan in Jammu. This one which you told, it came to Vaishno Devi temple. They just wanted to target our civilians. They knew that a lot of civilians will be going to Vaishno Devi temple. That is where they had the target. I'll also tell you that that drone was brought down, and there were 2 drones which were fired on Jammu University. On top of Jammu University, both the drones were brought down, and Jammu Airport was also 8 missiles were fired on Jammu Airport, and all the 8 missiles were brought down by our S-400. We had a drone attack at Samba, Arespura, and Akhnur, and Arnia. That's all in the Jammu border, I am telling you. I have spoken to those areas because I was DIG Jammu who made that fencing. I have done that fencing in Jammu border with Pakistan. So those areas I have covered. I spoke to the border now itself. Samba had a drone, and the drone was brought down. Akhnur, the drone was brought down. And Arespura and Arnia also, where, anyway, I don't want to tell where in Arnia they have sent the drone. That drone was also brought down. What is there in Arnia, I don't want to speak on TV. And that even at Pokhran also. At Pokhran also, they sent about 3 to 4 drones, and they were also brought down at Pokhran. Pathankot Air Base was also attacked by drones, and all the drones were brought down because we knew the attacks will come. So it is a heavy drone attack by Pakistan on, Punjab borders was also in Jammu and Kashmir border, everywhere. And now artillery fire is going on in Tangdhar very severely, in Karna sector, in Farkia sector, in Tangdhar sector, in Uri sector, in Norsera sector, in Bhimbar Gully, and also in Poonch. Now the artillery fire is going on very heavily on our side. And of course, we are retaliating more than that because our troops are all ready. And the best part of it, all their attacks by drone and missiles, they all were foiled. That's a very, and in fact, I cannot prove it, but from Sargodha Air Base, 3 attack aircrafts were taking off. I do not know, I cannot confirm it also. They got down and they were brought down. I do not know who brought down, whether it is a fact or not, but 1 F-16 and 2 JF-17, they were brought down when they were taking off at Sargodha Airport to some unknown destination. I cannot tell, but it is a fact. And our S-400 is doing marvelous thing in Jammu and Pathankot, and also in Pokhran. everyone. Rajasthan is a target, Punjab is a target, and Kashmir is a target. Now, more than Srinagar, they are now hitting in Jammu. It's all not only in this Vaishno Devi temple. They also did hit Jammu. First of all, they did hit Jammu Air Base. And Jammu Air Base, we knew Jammu Air Base definitely will be hit. So that is why S-400 was there, and they have brought down all the 8 missiles. It's a very nice thing that we are ready to take on Pakistan, and let us see what is happening more at night. And because Jammu, I could speak to Jammu. I've spoken to Jammu, nearby to airport. My battalion is there. I spoke to Samba also. I've spoken to Akhnur, and it is all confirmed. They are all drones were brought down there, and mostly 100% people they have gone to bunkers.
Yeah.
Not a single civilian they got injured, and nobody was killed. But yes, even in border areas also, as because we lost about 17 to 18% last 2 days. Right. Now mostly in Kashmir border, all people there.
We have some big news, and I'd like to relay that for our viewers here and to you. Leave we hear has been cancelled in schools of Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan. Basically, schools are shut. Leave cancelled of all the officers. They're all now going to be working overtime to ensure that our borders are safe. Kabir will take us through a little more.
You have the war rooms, you've got these shadow control rooms. They've already been operationalized because the mock drills were supposed to be carried out, and then Operation Sindoor happened. But what needs to go out there as a message is that all those memes that were doing the rounds on social media on mock drills, one need not make fun of that, because in about 36 hours we're now looking at this escalation, which very well could be complete and proper war games. So schools have been completely shut down, and this is not just Haryana, we're talking about Punjab as well, Rajasthan, all of Jammu and Kashmir in a complete blackout at Vaishno Devi as well. And as a matter of fact, blackout not just from there, you've got a blackout right from Jammu and Kashmir right till Gujarat on the eastern corridor of Pakistan and our western corridor. That's where the entire fiasco at this point in time is happening. That's what we have to safeguard at this point in time. India has retaliated with strikes on Lahore, is what we're breaking up next. Again, Nabila, this is a drone attack, and Rajnath Singh, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, they all kept on saying one thing: you escalate, we retaliate in the same domain and the same intensity.
Well,
if they targeted military sites.
In fact, I thought possibly a reaction would be painful for Pakistan the next morning, that they won't wake up to a sunrise. But here it appears India has acted, and right in time, right after these drone attacks that have hovered over Jammu, over Punjab and over Rajasthan, India has now retaliated with strikes in Lahore and Sialkot. And remember, this is the second round. Just earlier today, there were strikes that were carried out in Lahore and Sialkot. Here we are looking at multiple rounds now that India has carried out, striking areas of Lahore. Now, where exactly is that location, we're yet to establish, but this is huge considering that Pakistan is indulged in drone attacks over Jammu. Here is India retaliating.
You're absolutely right. If I could just add 2-3 more points to that, Nabila, is that the Defence Minister, he's already in a meeting with the CDS, the Chief of Defence Staff, and of course that's why now that we're learning of these attacks on Lahore as well. There are some explosion sounds that locals can hear, on the Udhampur sky in Jammu and Kashmir, and that's probably our aerial defence systems that are working. But needless to say, there is still heavy artillery that is being used in Rajouri, in Poonch and in Naushera sectors by Pakistan. The Pakistani army, and I've said this again, and this is my limited opinion, but I'm still going to put that out on record, with cheap drones that are being used out there. This is Hamas style attack. This is terrorism style attack that's being carried out. They know that these are going to be downed, but the fact that they're ready to escalate this after Operation Sindoor, after what India did today in the hour-long strikes, it only goes on to show that there is no repentance. They're going to continue to do it, which is why Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, is with the CDS as well.
We have also Sir Deeptendu, General Deeptendu, thank you very much for joining us right here on News 9. You've come right at a time when we hear that India has responded and a counter-strike has been carried out on Lahore. This is the second time that we hear news coming in from Lahore. We heard earlier today that Lahore's airport was damaged as India carried out a strike there. Now, yet again, Lahore has been attacked and India is, of course, responding. And this was expected. I still thought maybe it would happen tomorrow or wee hours of the morning, but it seems like India has not waited a moment to respond.
Thank you, Nabila. Good to be back here again. Two quick points on what was first. Probably I'll just open with what was mentioned earlier. Yes, the memes on the mock drills. 71 war onwards, we have not had a war. So while we had clear air defense and civil defense SOPs, they were never exercised. With the kind of periodicity that is needed because the fear of a conflict was a little far and gone. The smartest thing I think our leadership has done is to revive this at the earliest, because most importantly, it's about keeping our citizens safe and giving them a sense of involvement and keeping them in support of the nation as it goes through these actions. On the issue of retaliation, it's a critical fact that when you get into war fighting and on this escalatory ladder, speed is always of essence. There is something called the OODA loop, which is called, oriented, decide and act. The question, this is a chain which is followed by all warfighting organizations. And what is important is to break into the enemy's OODA loop, and that can only be done by retaliating or acting faster than he can act or think. And that is exactly what we are doing. So it is a clear display of, I think, a very well orchestrated and coordinated and integrated plan. So I'll make two quick points here.
Yeah.
Our response remains integrated, it remains calibrated, and the scale and the capacity, and this is the vast difference between Pakistan and us. Our scale and capacity for war fighting far, far outweighs theirs. And that is what I think they will rapidly come to realize. Thank you, Nabila.
I'd like to bring in also Colonel Raina, since you're there. We hear that India has responded and it's happened right now. If you want to elaborate, India has been quick to react in Lahore and in Sialkot. Both places India has responded with a drone attack. How can Pakistan handle an onslaught of such nature? It's already been bleeding. The whole of today, Pakistan has raised alarms saying that their multiple installations have been damaged. Now, another round of attack, barrage that India is firing at them. Will they be able to survive this? What's going to be the morning like for Pakistan?
No, survive they will, but there's a shloka which says, Vinash Kale Viprit Buddhi. That's how I summarize this action of Pakistan. Interestingly, this border which starts from Jori and goes all the way to Kathua, we call it international border, and Pakistan doesn't consider it as international border. It calls it working boundary. For many months, I've been advocating that let's open up on Sialkot, because if they can hit our civilians inside Punch, which is a purely human right issue, they hit hospitals, they hit the dispensaries, shops, houses, and young kids, everybody. So what was stopping us from hitting Sialkot? Sialkot should have happened last night. In fact, when attack came on Jammu, I almost tweeted that I think Sialkot is going to go up in flames today, because first it is in range, is part of Pakistani Punjab, it is an industrial belt. It's an ideal target to see when war is on and when you are being attacked. I think we can keep certain ethics, everything on one side for a while and attack. So what the previous speaker was saying is the way to go. Enemy he does something. He has a kind of expectation of you reacting. If you break that and if you beat him in that speed, I think you won that battle of tonight as it happens. I'll not say that Pakistan will be removed from the map tomorrow morning, but the process has started. If they don't take care to deal with us, the day is not very far when we will see a balkanized Pakistan, because once army gets weakened, which already today we saw, Lahore has been stripped naked of its air defense, which is something very, very major. And part of it was also happened in Rawalpindi. Yeah. And ISI's safe house has been hit today. So we've given a message to them that, okay, you can hide, but we know where you are. We are not hitting the GHQ because there will be nobody. We all know everybody moves out when mobilization happens. So Pakistan is digging the grave. Let them grieve. When your enemy is doing something stupid, you must allow him to do that and encourage him, and then give him a beating which he'll remember. moment Pakistani army,
You know,
since
it
they don't have
doesn't
the
seem
prestige
like a
to
country like Pakistan ever learns a lesson. I'm not going to say never. I hope they do. At least this round of attacks will be is possibly the first that has really shaken the country. Highly doubt that India has really put them in the place before as what we see we've done now. Operation Sindoor has really been alarming for them. They are rattled and they are shaken to their core. That's also the strikes that we've carried out has clearly exposed the nexus also between the Pakistan army and the terrorist organizations. We saw how they were given state honors, the funerals that were carried out with the military standing right there, giving salutes to the convoy of Masood Azhar, whatnot. So it's exposed the real dirt in Pakistan that the army and the terror agencies in cahoots carry out. So today what we see India retaliating, it's not just favor to India itself but favor to the world. Nipping terror at its bud in Pakistan is certainly what India is doing to the world, a big favor. Right, Captain Akhilesh, would you want to come in?
Yeah. So I just want to make a comment, and I think, very valuable comment from panelists. But I just want to point out there is one basic difference between India and Pakistan, the character of the nation, right? So there is one nation, which is India, which is very mature, always talking about the peace and dialogue. And this has been carried out for last so many years. On the other side, we a nation, which is a rogue nation, which is a failed nation, where our army is serving the nation, right? And they are ready to do anything. We have seen multiple times where army is using the Pakistan, exploiting the Pakistan and using terror as a weapon, right? They have been doing it all the way. In fact, despite being so many, issues, despite being such a terror attack, India has responded in a very, very calibrated and restrained way. They still not gone all out. And when the first attack was done, they clearly given the message that we are only hitting the terror camp. Despite knowing that Pakistan army is hand in gloves with these terrorists, we have not hit any army installations or any infrastructure which is belong to civilians or to the army. So we were very careful in our response, and we were saying we do not want to escalate the situation. If Pakistan does not do anything, we will continue with our non-kinetic approach will go. But as he rightly says, Vinash Kale Viprit Buddhi. Despite having a good chance, Pakistan escalated. And I feel this is a golden opportunity for India now to take the advantage. Because till now, every time we have told them through every means, through peace, through Lahore Yatra, Aman Ki Asha, everything, but nothing worked out. Despite giving so many chances, so right now there is a chance they are in a bad shape economically. They do not have the money to even eat. They are into the huge debt. They do not have the capacity to even repay their debt. At the same time, the Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, multiple issues.
Right,
so
I'd like to remind our viewers though, as there is panic that prevails across the country, the nation is watching on how India responds, and let me tell you, India has managed it and how. Not an ounce of damage has been reported in any of the given locations that Pakistan has targeted. No damage caused in these Pakistan drone attacks. That's an official confirmation that we have here. Prime Minister Modi, meanwhile, meeting the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. There's been high-level security meets right now. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh is currently meeting with the agencies. Now, from what we hear in a confirmation that we have here is that there's been no damage to the Indian side from the entourage of drones that Pakistan has sent in the last few hours. In fact, Jammu, Udhampur, both areas that were specifically targeted, the Indian Army, especially the Air Force, have managed to thwart it and right in time neutralized all those drones, even the one that hovered above the Vaishno Devi shrine. That's big news. The Vaishno Devi shrine was also one of the targets. Drone was specifically directed at the Vaishno Devi shrine, and we hear the Indian forces have managed to neutralize it. Now, Jammu, Udhampur, Pathankot military stations were also targeted, and information we have for certain is that not an ounce of damage has been spotted. So this is a huge credibility or rather credit to our armed forces for carrying out a defense mechanism that protected our important installations, our shrines, our people most importantly. So they've really managed to deal with it, and how this is maybe the first time in a long time that the armed forces are facing a situation like this, and they've really risen up to the occasion. So big salute to our forces. Kabir?
Absolutely right. And I think we must add that this is happening for the second time, that there has been no damage to life or property, no massive damage at this point in time. At least that's what we're picking up from all our source-based information. And it's that NSA Ajit Doval has met the Prime Minister. That briefing must be going on that front. But military stations of Jammu, of Pathankot, of Udhampur, in proximity to the international border in Jammu and Kashmir, that was the essential target by the Pakistani missiles and drones, the cheap drones. I'm going to keep on adding the cheap drones in that. No losses. The threat was again neutralized. And what again must be highlighted is that this was the first time that the S-400 was incorporated. They've got the Chinese built HQ-9s over there. That's their aerial defense system. Again, a marquee mechanism in terms of their military prowess. But then again, our kinetic response, Jammu, Udhampur and Pathankot military bases, they were targeted. S-400 comes in handy, stays strong. I'm only thinking what our retaliation is now going to look like, because we've been saying that we're going to attack you in the same vein.
And we already have begun strikes in Lahore and Sialkot. So India has responded. I'm also going to bring in Padmaja Joshi, who joins us a little more. Padmaja, on the Indian government at this point in a huddle. Prime Minister Modi meeting with NSA Ajit Doval. You have Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holding his own meetings with the forces. As multiple locations have been on their target, India has managed to control. Give us a little more information on what the government plans to do. Any revelation we have?
The defense forces, the defense sources have confirmed that drone attacks have taken place at various locations across the western border of India. They have all been engaged by Indian armed forces. Our defense systems have effectively neutralized attacks that have been launched along the western border at several points. And what is also important, it's very important to bust the misinformation that in large parts is being spread by non-state actors. A lot of this misinformation campaign is going on, and it has to be underlined that anyone who is saying that there is any kind of suicide attack either at Pathankot or Rajouri are being floated are completely false. So India is going out and telling the world about the action it has taken, and also the kind of actions that now Pakistan has retaliated with. The critical difference being that right from the beginning of Operation Sindoor, India has underlined the fact that we have not targeted any civilian or Pakistani military establishments, but Pakistan has done exactly that, like Aditya has also been underlining. And today was just another such example where military installations, including the one at Pathankot, there was an attempt to try and target that. Of course, all of that has been thwarted. A quick update, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also just tweeted saying, just spoke to US Secretary Rubio this evening, deeply appreciate the US commitment to work with India in the fight against terrorism. Underlined, and this is key, Nabila, underlined India's targeted and measured response to cross-border terrorism. We will firmly counter any attempts at escalation. The key words here, we are giving a targeted and measured response to cross-border terrorism, but if there is any attempt at escalation, we will firmly counter it. So an international outreach and a domestic huddle, even as our armed forces are repulsing all of these attacks that are being attempted by Pakistan in the dead of the night. Back to you, Nabila.
Pakistan, in fact, has faced the heat and wrath of India. The last few hours has been intense, with India striking parts of Pakistan, and now Pakistan reacting with those drones. And India has begun its response yet again. As I'm going to read out this breaking for you here, External Affairs Minister who reacts after speaking to Mark Rubio. In fact, he says India will counter any attempts of escalation. You know, this is something that the External Affairs Minister and the Ministry, our armed forces, have been quite clear on, that if Pakistan escalates, then there is no doubt India will respond. And living up to that, our forces have responded in measure. And this is precisely what EAM, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, has reiterated, that Pakistan will have to pay for it. Of course, I may be too intense with my words, but the diplomatic usage here with S. Jaishankar is that any attempts to escalate will be responded to. That's precisely what External Affairs Minister has said to the United States. In fact, Kabir could divulge on that development that we have right now.
Not once, Nabila. We've said it twice, thrice, and not just the External Affairs Minister, the Defense Minister as well. We've said it time and again. We've said it to our Chinese counterpart. We've told the same in clear-cut words to Pakistan as well. Escalation is going to meet with the same kind of retaliation. Just as a quick update for all the viewers as well, let me tell you that the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, the BCAS, has also instructed all the airlines and airports across the country, and this is not just the blackout region towards the western sector, but across the country, to enhance their security measures. There's something called a secondary ladder point check, the SLPC. All passengers at all airports will have to go through this secondary check. Visitor entry to the terminal buildings across all the airports in the country has now been banned. Air Marshal will be deployed accordingly. This is coming from the Ministry of Civil Aviation. That's the latest again, because in the face of these hostile attacks, these cheap drones coming in from Pakistan, right from Avantipura up on top, to, of course, you've got, Barmer and Jaisalmer towards the deep western sector here. All the airports, there are preventive measures that are being taken. You've got this second ladder check that's going to be carried out, and whether Air Marshal is going to be imposed or not, well, the Civil Aviation Ministry is going to be taking a keen look at that as well.
All right, maybe our Air Marshal on the panel to give us a little more. Sir, Diptendu, give us your take on security checks that have been beefed up. We are looking at deployment that has now been amplified in certain civilian areas. Do we have to worry as a citizen at this point? Do we have enough arsenal in our kitty? Do we have the might and strength at this point to stop Pakistan right there?
Let me just clarify one thing, Navi. When he says an air marshal, it's not my kind, it's a different kind of an air marshal. They are used for this secondary set of checks. They are essentially very trained specialists who are put on board for any intervention in a flight should anything occur. So there's just an indication of the extent and depth of precautions which are being taken. It also reflects the amount of thinking which has gone across, which covers the entire range of the civilian side and the military side as well. And the prime importance of here remains the lives of civilian citizens. That apart, that is from the aspect of the additional security at the airports. When it comes to the capability vis-a-vis Pakistan, let me make it very clear. And I think we have been talking about this for the last couple of days. And I think the most important thing which stands out starkly, and this is something which I think we must all give enormous credit, is that our entire political leadership, military leadership, and everyone down the chain are speaking in the same tone and tenor.
Yeah.
Everybody is very clear. It's an amazing coincidence of all forces brought together to bear our entire might on the nation. Pakistan is in a tight spot, an extremely tight spot. A nation which has been built on the narrative of aggressive India, which is going to, which is an existential threat. And that is exactly what has kept the army in power for so long. It has sold this narrative to its people that the military is vital for Pakistan to save the lives of the Pakistani and keep Pakistan intact. But I think that narrative is running thin. The actions are showing, and all the steps which we have taken are all, very, very well calibrated steps. And it is evident that, that we have a long series of, escalation plans all put in place. It's almost like a TV, program, a new serial coming in. We first gave them a teaser. The first couple of episodes are there, and trust me, I think the Indian episode has many episodes and several seasons vis-a-vis what Pakistan has.
Yeah. Pakistan, I've been reading, has not enough in its arsenal to sustain even 4 days of intense war. In fact, Captain Akhilesh Saxena himself elaborated a little on my show itself a few days ago. Would you want to reiterate, Captain, on the firepower that Pakistan has at this point. And if you could give us a sense on where these drones have come from, could it be a handover from Turkey?
Yeah. So not Turkey, mostly from Chinese. But before I go there, I just wanted to, just one put for all the citizens of the country. So, and I'm just wanted to, give this message from your channel side. While army is going to take care of our front, right, both the western and northern front, I think you will see many sleeper cell getting activated within the country. They will be trying to disrupt whatever our army, our brave forces are going to do. You will see some maybe small attacks on the small parts of the country just to disrupt. So that this second and half front, so this half front is responsibility for all of us, right? And we will have to do it for our nation, for our forces. So each of us need to be very, very careful. If we see any activity which is suspicious, please inform, take appropriate action, because we all need to be, work like army. We intend
very big information, Captain Akhilesh. Just hold on to that thought. We have some very big information on this. India striking Pakistan. We hear Islamabad has been attacked. It's huge. We've gone deep into areas where it will certainly wake Pakistan up from its slumber. Islamabad has now been struck at. Would we know a little more in detail, Kabir?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the Rubicon that we were talking about now, wasn't it? And Islamabad, we don't know where exactly in Islamabad, but Islamabad is, of course, the counterpart to New Delhi. So if we have made our inroads there, but then again, was that any surprise at all? When we clearly said, what you're going to do to us, we're going to do it back to you, when we're going to, of course, increase the intensity of our retaliation as well. You come near our military sites, well, we're going to do the same. And now we're learning that Bahawalpur, which is also part of Operation Sindur's, attack, one of those terror hubs that were flattened out, Bahawalpur was also part of that list. And after Islamabad, because we already had news of Lahore being attacked, and official army sources also, that's what News 9 is picking up right now, is that Islamabad too with Bahawalpur has been attacked in these, retaliatory strikes after Pakistan's barrage of cheap drones coming in, those projectiles targeting at least 10 plus locations on the western border front. So, Nabila, you have
Pakistan's
Islamabad.
capital being struck.
Yep,
This is India being aggressive as well at this point, going straight to Pakistan's capital, Islamabad. Is the Indian army at this point very well aware of the repercussions? Because we know that Pakistan is right now acting like a headless chicken. They could be running in every direction, not knowing how to react, but want to react. And that's dangerous for a country like ours, because we have a lot more to lose than them. Captain?
I think Rana sir put it very, at that one line, Vinash Kale Vipreet Buddhi. I think that's the same thing. India has given them every chance, but I think they have not learned. They have taken the action, and I think we were prepared for this. So for 14 days, we actually prepared for layered response, right? We always say we are a matured country. We do not want to kind of be tagged as an aggressor, and international community is also seeing, right? So we have just taken a very calibrative approach, and we stopped there. Now we've just waited, and if Pakistan retaliates, then we have got all the rights to strike back, and that's what we are doing. Now, since Pakistan has done that, all floodgates are open. We can take any action, Rawalpindi, Islamabad. Now there is nothing which is going to stop us. And I think, it's a good opportunity also, if I really see, because, we continue these terror camps were going ahead. They were training people there, terrorists there, and sending it to India. Now is the time to kind of finish them once for all. Stop the terror funding, make them attack from all the sides, right? In my view, we should be like a python and a cobra. Python is something where we are excusing them from all the sides, from financial side, from the water treaty side, from the food import side. So that's how you excuse them. And like a cobra, you strike them, what we are doing it today, right? So it's a solution. It's a one issue which we can sort it out once for all. That's a time for us. I think that's also a great opportunity for Indian Armed Forces and for India.
This drone incursion is not an isolated event in Jammu itself. We know that there have been multiple targets. As we saw, Punjab has also reported spotting drones. We heard in Jaisalmer as well. We know that Rajasthan has also been on target. Gujarat was also targeted in the last 24 hours. So Pakistan trying on multiple dimensions, and India now gone straight to the capital of Pakistan. Islamabad itself. Do we understand if the Indian Army has managed to find terror hideouts or spots in Islamabad? Could there be any details that we have here, or any one of you, our panelists, could give us a little sense on what it would mean by striking a capital like Islamabad in Pakistan? Colonel Raina?
Yeah, in fact, Islamabad was hit today in the afternoon also. There was a AD battery which was taken out next to GHQ. Where is the root of terror? It's not in, of course, these guys are snakes which are roaming about in shape of JEM and Lashkar-e-Taiba. The root lies in Rawalpindi, inside GHQ, and part of it is in Islamabad, inside ISA headquarters. So it's logical that we go and hit where it actually matters the most. We've been very decent till now, and I am sure that Bharat will not rush into the way we want government to rush in. But ultimately, how I look at it is that keeping everything aside, like today you had a funeral, you had very senior army officers attending that terrorist funeral. So next time it happens, I as an Indian would like to hit that very spot where these guys gather and offer prayers to people who have killed so many, who have raped so many. Secondly, as it escalates, I should not be shying away from sending a few fired air defense missiles to friends in Balochistan, possibly in KPK. I have been advocating that let's open full diplomatic relationship with Afghanistan and sell them weapons. Sell, I mean, within commas, give it to them. So we should not leave anything for too much into future. We should start reacting and start thinking that the way our adversary thinks, and then
coming in, a Pakistan pilot has been captured. This is big news that we get here. A Pakistan pilot has been captured by the Indian forces. In fact, this is the latest. Would you want to give us a little more, Kabir, if you have that information there? Pakistan pilot has been captured. We're waiting for more details on this, but this is the surface level information that we have.
Absolutely. That's all we have at this point in time. And that's all the corroborated information. That's exactly that very line that we're looking at, that a Pakistan pilot has been captured. Exactly where?
Likely in Aknoor is what we hear. Likely, we're waiting for a confirmation though.
Yep. Pakistan pilot captured. I think, our war veterans and of course, defense and strategy experts on the show will better be able to expound what this now means at a diplomatic level as well, because we've struck in Islamabad as well. And now a Pakistani pilot is also with us.
Well, we've managed to strike down 2 of their fighter jets. So is this part of it? Air Marshal, would you want to tell us a little more on how we managed to capture one of those pilots? A Pakistan pilot is in our custody.
Frankly, Nabila, I won't have the details, but I can only speculate at this point in time that, yes, this is an inevitability which is going to happen. So when the fog of war kicks in and when action starts, you will find, like today itself, through the news coverage, we've been getting breaking news at bits and pieces, and this will continue. So you'll be vast amount of actions, losses, events which will keep occurring, and that is what makes up the whole process of war fighting. So this is something we have to be very calibrated and not get too carried away with it, because what matters at the end of the day is achievement of national objectives. Please understand, the use of military as an instrument of force is towards achieving national objectives, and that is important. While I wouldn't like to speculate on what are the other actions in the diplomatic front and other fronts which you can take, there are enough people, qualified people who are doing that job. And trust me, at this point in time, everybody must be hard at work doing that. So let's trust them with that. But what is important, we must bear in mind at this point, is that with every day and every level of action Pakistan is taking, you will get to hear more and more of losses and challenges which the country is going to face, and it is doomed to face.
Right, we have some more information though, Air Marshal. Stay with us. Pakistani pilot has been captured alive by the Indian forces in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan. This is the information that we have as confirmation here. Intelligence sources have confirmed interception post drone and missile attacks, and we seem to have captured one pilot from Pakistan. Aditya Rajkol joins us on the phone line for a little more to elaborate on this. Aditya, please, over to you.
Well, yes, that's a big development coming at this hour. Top intelligence sources have just confirmed to me that a pilot who ejected from a Pakistani aircraft has in fact been captured alive in Jaisalmer. So this is a news that's just trickling in first on News9 here in India, but we'll have to wait and watch and to get more details about how this happened, where exactly this has happened. But as of now, it's a multi drone attack from Pakistan in different areas of Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, in Rajasthan as well. But it's a big achievement for India if if a pilot has been captured alive. This would certainly change the dynamics in many ways for Pakistan. As of now, a lot of jets have been scrambled both by India and Pakistan in the air, even as these drone attacks continue and India tries to neutralize the threat. But it's a big development. News of a Pakistani pilot being captured alive in Jaisalmer. We are waiting for more details and, if possible, photographs from ground, and waiting for further details.
This is massive. Marshal, if you would want to come in on this, we're identifying details, the process of which is currently underway. We do not know his name, but he's been captured when he tried to eject. So there's no way that Pakistan now can't admit that one of their fighter jets has been shot down by India. That's a confirmation, considering we have in custody one of their pilots.
Okay, one thing is very clear, which comes out of this, first off, Nabila, especially on this jet issue. There have been a lot of claims of other jets having lost other aircraft, but those aircraft which they have possibly lost obviously has fallen in their territory. But the fact that a pilot has been captured, that means the platform or the aircraft would have crossed over across into Indian airspace, and that is why he's been captured in our territory. Now that is something entirely different. That means they have breached the border with fighter jets. It's easy to within the escalatory ladder to carry out attack with drones. To understand, drones are of different types, and at a point like this, when you launch even low-end drones in en masse, the idea is to tire out or saturate the air defense systems of a nation. But this is where I think Pakistan has underestimated itself. Our air defense system is resilient. We have been doing this game for a very, very long time. And you will find through this entire set of actions that there will be continuous set of drones attacks of different kinds. But do understand the damage done by a drone of a low-end cheap drone is very limited compared to a specialist drone which has taken out their radar systems. And now that's the difference. So when you have cheap drones, they add to a nuisance value but help you in saturating the air defense in the hope of tiring out or bringing in fatigue in the enemy system. And clearly Pakistan is trying to do that, little realizing that our depth and strength of our air defense system is much stronger than them. But again, I'll come back to this aspect of this fighter, that this brings in a new dynamics. Yes, it is nothing to my mind. If this action continues, we'll possibly have more of this happening. Okay, so if they choose to breach the border or cross over into our airspace, most certainly, you will have more stories like this coming out as breaking news.
Colonel Raina, from what we hear of that one pilot being captured, it just takes us back to the times of Balakot. Give us a little more on how India or Pakistan may have learned lessons from then. Pakistan clearly hasn't. What have we done to better our systems?
See, two things. Firstly, look at the response. A pilot lands up here, he ejects, he's captured, and we declare it immediately, the capture part. We also say he's alive. That shows what Captain Akhilesh was saying, the strength and character of the country. Of course, breaching the border is something is taken into a new level, and now field is open. In fact, having suffered this disease called terrorism for decades now in my part of the country, and I belong to a place which, like I said, is very close to line of control. I think at some cost will be there, of course, for both sides. Today they are losing something, tomorrow we'll also lose, and I will tell my country cousins, okay, this happens in war, just don't lose heart. So if they breach the target international border, and then options for us, of course, even legally are now open. And I am one person who would say that we must walk this path to higher escalation at own pace. We should not get dragged into it, but then we should not leave any possibility out. Like today, if they had done this you ask me, I'll not mind going to visiting them in Karachi and sinking their navy, where we have a lot of differential. Now it may sound very dramatic, but this is how it's gonna be. And as long as we keep playing this game of badminton in the air, I think still there's a possibility of Pakistan poking us and we slapping him back. Moment we come down to what I call it field hockey, 4 days has already been mentioned, and then the story of Pakistan will be over. So if Pakistan wants to hurry up into that part of the sports arena where he wants to play hockey, then so be it. We are ready for it. One thing I want to say, that while you ask the question that should we be worried, so I would say, okay, my countrymen and women, don't get worried. We are all together. Forces are competent, and the spirit of nation. Of course, you will see if you visit border areas today, you find villagers in our part of the country. What we do generally when it flares up, we send our kids and ladies behind, and then we join up our forces. We fight alongside with them. Every house has a weapon. So is the case in Punjab, and of course this. And secondly, the people who must be worried are the people who are very fond of lassi from Andruni Lahore, or kebabs from Meena Bazaar. They're the people, the so-called Asha Tamasha gang. They're the people probably they'll be worried. Our people, Indian citizens, right intent, nationalists, you don't have to worry. Sleep comfortably. There are people guarding you, and they won't let any harm come to you.
You know, it was interesting lingo that you used, badminton in the air and field hockey. And in field hockey on the ground, Pakistan will not sustain beyond 4 days. As a person from the army, you're very well in your place to say something like that with such ease and calm. But for me, I really have shivers down my spine looking at those images there. If I'm watching it and reporting it and feeling this tense, I can only imagine the locals, the civilians there who've never seen something like that up close. They're watching it firsthand, like firecrackers in the air. How long could this go on? Captain, would you want to come in on that? Where now de-escalation begins?
And you should be happy that you will be the part of the victory, right? So whenever I look back at my Kargil day, I always feel a lot of pride that, though there was a lot of difficulties, right? Even we were going in front of death, but you always feel pride. So as Colonel Rana has said, we should be all not too much worry about this. See, drone story, I just want to have a one twist. See, yesterday we have seen Pakistan have fired around 15 missiles, but none of them could pass through our system, right? We have got a very good, which is S-400 system, and it is a multi-layered system, which is start at 400, 240, 120, and 80. So it's a 4-layer. What I think the strategy behind this drone is, because they want to send so many drones, they itself may not have any value, but it is just to tire out your air defense system. So any air defense system can engage number of target at one particular time. Yeah. So once you tire it out, and then you bring your missile. I think what we are seeing right now, sending a lot of drone. If the strategy is right, after this you will see missiles coming out from Pakistan, right? That's what my anticipation is. Any kind of strategy may be like that. Second, the one factor which we have not taken into account, though Pakistan, as I mentioned that day, that they do not have much arms and ammunition left, and the cost of deployment of their entire army on the entire front is, in 3 to 3.5 days, they will kind of going to spend around $1 billion, right? So they do not have capacity more than 10-15 days to have a full-fledged deployment and this kind of fight. One factor is the China factor, which I just want to bring in here. So China is not going to come in front directly, but in terms of arms, ammunition, and this PL-15 missile, which is a Chinese missile, has already reached Pakistan, right? That's unconfirmed sources, which I got this news, and they are going to, I'm sure, they are definitely going to use this in this kind of thing. They are also providing them all the intelligence, all the data, and definitely some part of the ammunition. So that's one thing that we need to be really careful, that we have to plan not only for the arms and ammunition which is available with the Pakistan right now, but we know there will be some arms ammunition which will be coming through China, and then we will have to plan for this. So
we know very well Pakistan and China have great friendship. China has loaned a lot to Pakistan, so they owe a lot to China. And for China, India is an emerging threat, or maybe not emerging. In fact, it's a current persistent threat. It will be so for long. because we are a growing economy, and the manufacturing seems to be turning its doors into India, and China at this point is rattled, so very well could use Pakistan as its proxy. But it's very interesting to see how Pakistan, who used proxies in the form of their terror groups, now carrying out this full frontal aerial attack. Where do they get their confidence from? If you are saying they hardly have the ammunition, they won't be able to sustain, I can't even imagine where this conviction comes from. But I will thank Colonel Raina for joining me here. He's really been patient, and he's coming from the epicenter, Jammu, where currently drone strikes have happened. It's safe. He has given a message to people of our country that there's nothing to worry. Indian forces are equipped and strong enough to handle this. Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to quickly get SP Vaid, who's responded on this bite from him. Let's listen in.
मैं समझता हूँ पाकिस्तान ने जिस तरह का अटैक किया जम्मू में और बहुत सारे शहरों में, ये सिर्फ यहाँ नहीं हुआ है, रजौरी में हुआ है, पठानकोट, जैसलमेर, बहुत सारी जगहों पे, मैं सभी नहीं जानता, लेकिन मैं कॉम्प्लीमेंट करता हूँ भारत का एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम. अगर वो नहीं होता तो शायद काफ़ी नुकसान होता. जिस तरह का पाकिस्तान, मैंने खुद 50-60 धमाकों की आवाज़ सुनी और इन सब मिसाइल्स को या ड्रोन जो भी ये हैं, इनको इंटरसेप्ट किया हमारे एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम ने. S-400 और आकाश क्या सिस्टम है मैं उसकी ज़्यादा जानकारी नहीं रखता, लेकिन मुबारकबाद के हकदार हैं हमारे जिन्होंने भी ये सिस्टम प्रोक्योर किया, हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब, हमारे डिफेंस मिनिस्टर साहब, हमारी सेनाएं तीनों, और कोई भी जहाँ तक मेरी नॉलेज जाती है अभी तक कोई भी रिपोर्ट नहीं है कि कहीं ज़्यादा नुकसान हुआ हो. तो मैं समझता हूँ एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम हमारा बहुत ही बढ़िया है, इम्प्रेग्नेबल है, और इसमें पाकिस्तान की जो नापाक इरादे थे बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान करने के, उस सबको विफल किया इसने. तो
Well, he says 50 to 60 explosions or sounds that he heard.
You know what, Nabila, I was speaking to Mr. Vaid exactly when we were breaking the news of Jammu being under siege, under these cheap drone attacks. And he was kind enough to speak to us on the phone line, telling us that how he and his family is huddled inside a home. It's completely blacked. A complete blackout prevails over Jammu, and I tried to understand through him, because he was the only benchmark we had back then, how close were these explosions that he heard. He's talking about some 50 to 60 explosions. Back then he was only talking about some 8 to 7 explosions. But picking on from where, Nabila, you left us about how Pakistan has nothing to lose and we have pretty much so much to lose. I was just going through the social media, perusing through it, and I saw Nikki Haley's tweet where she says, Nikki Haley, who was also in the run-up to be the president, of course, and against Donald Trump, there was no competition per se. But she says that terrorists launched an attack that killed dozens of Indian citizens. India had every right to retaliate and defend itself. Pakistan, and this is the underlining statement, and I think all Indians should be behind this particular statement. She says Pakistan does not get to play the victim, and that's quite clear with the amount of terror that they export. It is their biggest export. It says no country gets a pass from supporting terrorist activity. With just a short while ago, we were telling how Hamas and the ISIS they met. There were some reports. They were seen in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Take a look at exactly how Pakistan has used these cheap drones, just like how Iran-backed proxies do it when they're attacking Israel, specifically when missiles, a barrage of rockets is launched from Gaza towards Tel Aviv. It's the same method, it's the same modus operandi. I mean, what else? I mean, if one really looks back and connects the dot in retrospect, one can clearly say that, this is Pakistan that's using the terrorist modus operandi of, sending those cheap drones as a large barrage. They don't care how many are being, trickled down, how many of those projectiles are being downed. All they worry about is that they're constantly attacking. And this is Pakistan, a country that says that we're not harboring terror, but then go on to use that same terrorizing modus operandi.
We've seen the hypocrisy that's now been exposed, and Vikram Misri himself, our foreign secretary, showed up those images showing how Pakistan is giving state honor funeral to those terrorists. And so it just shows how terror groups in Pakistan and their army are hand in glove. They've just been denying it all along. Of course, the government has been denying it. The government says, no, it's not us, we are not responsible. But poor government is not even in the army's control. Everyone knows what power and how much power the Pakistan government has against its army. So it's a clear attack at this point on a terror state, and I will call that Pakistan. The world knows that terror breeds on Pakistan's ground, and it's been exposed today. If India is attacking their terror hideouts, this is a favor that India is doing to the world, not just to our own citizens. We also have Lieutenant General A.B. Shivani joining me right here, who's a former Director General Mechanized Forces, to give us a little sense on these visuals that are blaring on Indian skies. Sir, we hear there's big information coming in that a Pakistani pilot has been captured in Jaisalmer. This is one pilot. It's possible that there could be two pilots who've been captured, one in Aknoor and one in Jaisalmer. But look at those visuals. Those are visuals that we've accessed right here on News 9, showing almost firecracker-like situation on the skies of Jammu. So Jammu, Punjab, Rajasthan, three places that have seen these drones fire up in the sky.
That's our aerial defense system in action. People have been talking about the S-400. Mr. Vaid, just a short while ago, he said, I don't know much about the Akash or the S-400. Well, that's exactly how it works. Bringing, throwing up those flares of interceptions, and they go and intercept the rockets and the projectiles, and then mid-air explosions happen. So that's probably why you could hear all these explosions, but they weren't on the ground. They were pretty much in the middle of the air. And also another breaking that we're bringing to our viewers is that India has closed 27 airports for civilian operations. 27 airports that have been completely shut down. We were earlier talking about how air marshals are going to be deployed on the ground. These are different air marshals, not the air marshal rank of the Indian Air Force, but these air marshals are going to be deployed on the ground. There's going to be a second level of security ladder check, if that's the right word, if I remember that right. That's going to be carried out as well. And 27 airports now, Nabila, that have been completely shut down for civilian operations.
Well, 27 airports are a lot. We're yet to understand. We have to get the list of those airports. In fact, I was to take a flight myself. I'm not too sure if that's now going to be on schedule. But A.B. Shivani, Lieutenant General, give us a little sense on the visuals we see here. Our air defense systems have managed to, right in time, foil those drones, many of them that were targeted at prime installations of Jammu, including the Vaishno Devi Shrine.
Absolutely. Let me say that Pakistan has notched up the escalation ladder to the next level by intent from a war waged on terror by India to a war waged against a country by Pakistan. So there lies the difference, but the point is that their war efforts have very effectively been neutralized from what we know as of now, with both the S-400s, the Akash weapon system, indigenous capability which is there. And we see that these drones, some of them look like saturated swarm attack also, but they have been effectively neutralized, and I don't think there has been any measurable damage. But they have hyped it up in the sense that 2 or 3 points which have come out. One is that they have targeted military targets in response to terror targets. So the escalation level has gone up. Like I said, now it is war between two nations.
Yeah.
Second, if the reports are right, I won't conjecture, but these are just reports which are floating around, of capture of pilots in Aknoor sector and Jaisalmer sector.
Yeah, Jaisalmer and Aknoor, 2 pilots we hear. Of course, we're waiting for a confirmation. For now, we confirm that in Jaisalmer, 1 pilot has been taken into custody. There's 1 more in Aknoor who could have been arrested. While reports are to confirm that, what does this mean, and how does this really embolden Indian forces?
So what does it mean? In war, such things will happen. But the larger implication of the capture of these pilots in our own territory is that Pakistan has crossed both the LC and the international borders. Their aircrafts have crossed, and which is an act of a full-fledged conventional war which has taken place. Whether those pilots, if they are captured in our area, if we get a confirmation, then certainly this is act, and therefore, the response that they would get would be very much one on the military targets and their launch pads, be it the airfields, be it the headquarters, military headquarters, or military installations, because that is where this military has launched operations against us to the next escalation level. So I'm very sure that this is another misadventure by Pakistan, and which you will see tonight, that they will face next level of escalation and the brunt from the Indian armed forces. Because there is no comparison between the two nations in terms of war endurance, in terms of war capability, in terms of quantity, in terms of quality. So it's only a matter of time when they are put down on the ground.
Yeah.
If they dare so right now, I'm sure that they will face the brunt in an escalatory manner.
You know, the constant threat of nuclear weapon, we are a nuclear power, Kabir. How many times have we heard Pakistan say this? We are a nuclear power, you see what we'll do, don't even try to threaten us, we'll punch it. You know, their conventional systems they're not able to work with.
There was no other deterrence for them to leverage. So that's all that they stuck onto. But let me tell you that time and again, we've proved it, that that is a deterrence that needs to be undermined consciously, because we can't have that anymore with Pakistan. So how big of a deterrence is that nuclear bogey? Well, we'll have to wait and find out. I think we've got Wing Commander Bakshi also with us. Maybe he can help us understand what's happening on that front, even though I wanted to ask him about a two-pronged situation, that a pilot being captured essentially means that the plane has crashed and the pilot ejected and ended up inside enemy lines, which is when just like a cut flying kite, people run after it trying to locate where the pilot might have landed. He has probably a pistol, some security gear with him at this point in time, but now that they've been captured, it goes on to tell us that it was a mid-air ejection now, wasn't it? Over to you, sir. You have to unmute yourself, sir. My apologies. You have to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you with us. You with us. Please go on.
The pilot has ejected. There is no doubt about it. And even if he tries to say that I ejected in my territory, I drifted into your territory, that makes no difference. The war is already on.
Yep.
Pakistan has attacked us. His ejection is not creating a war. The war is already on. He is POW. Yes, he is being treated like a POW. No, Geneva Conventions will protect him, no doubt about it. Red Cross will endorse him in the register. Perfectly okay. But he has been captured. The question is this, that now we are at war. What are our objectives and what we should do? I personally feel that until you have boots on the ground, army, no amount of air effort or naval effort will get you victory. You may destroy the entire air bases, yet victory will not come until you go and capture it. At least capture POK. Get into POK immediately. Probably, perhaps army has already started doing it. We don't know. Nobody's telling us anything. But that should be our priority, because the whole thing has started because of that. Until we get POK, the terrorism doesn't stop. And terrorism now is taking a back foot. That is now there. Now it's a total war. We are back to 1971 days. So let us now talk in terms of full-fledged war. What are we going to do now? Are we going to have a second front? Are we going to create a thrust in Sindh somewhere there? What are we going to do? We can't keep concentrating on Kashmir only. Now Punjab sector is going to be alive. What is going to be there? And China and Bangladesh, they were waiting for this day. Now what happens? They have already a contingency plan. What to do with India? If the war comes, because China has pumped its arms into Bangladesh and Pakistan. We are now going to look at the proverbial 3.5 front war. Perhaps if China enters, at least half I am adding, because we have local terrorist elements and sleeper cells all over, from here to Madhya Pradesh to down south. We have all over. So that aspect we'll also have to. Internal security and external security will be a problem.
Everybody that needs any kind of money or help. But, let me quickly cut across to Air Marshal Chaudhary, who's with us on the broadcast here. Air Marshal, from your understanding and from your own expertise and experience, this has been a non-contact war for the past 36 plus hours. Boots on the ground, our deployment, nobody's talking about these tanks or the howitzers or artillery blasts that are going to go on. What next is going to happen? This has been non-contact so far. Of course, let's not jump the gun. Let's not, strike panic in our viewers. But let's definitely speculate whether that could be a potential way where we're headed.
This is something I was, wanting to bring in at some point in time, that, in all this excitement of the tactical level of operations which is carrying on now. And this is just the beginning. We have just at best peeled the first few layers of the onion. A full-fledged war is something very serious, and it happens at the end of the escalatory scale, and is possibly could escalate to a nuclear level if Pakistan chooses to go, this oft-stated, approach. But just do remember one thing in time, and I would like to bring in a word of caution. When we throw this nuclear word around, that we also must be mature enough to understand that yes, while it has been bandied about a lot, but do understand in an extreme pressure of crisis like this, and where the senior leadership of Pakistan probably could be in a state of panic, there could be rogue players as well. While I'm quite sure the good sense will prevail, but just do bear this in mind. This is just a caution, before we just get carried away and just put this out of the window. Next is on the issue on the escalatory scale, and that was covered, I think, ample number of times by me and many other experts who have come. But yeah, we are going up the escalatory ladder. War is a full-fledged contact battle. What we are talking about, tanks and infantry maneuvers and full-scale escalation, airstrikes, maritime strikes, naval blockades. Those are way up the chain. Please do understand that our nation, and this time around, as I mentioned earlier, well before and several times, that it has been an integrated approach. Most certainly those bases would have been covered. Those options would have been well covered, planned for, and kept in the kitty, depending on the level which Pakistan takes it to.
Well, we know that the target was multiple locations and none of them really had an impact. I'm going to bring in Kabir on this. Kabir, if you could give our viewers a little sense on where all these attacks were planned. In fact, it was initiated. We saw those drones really crackling in the air before they were foiled, destroyed by our Indian defense systems. Now, give us a sense of where was the threat perception.
This is more about how India countered back those attacks and strikes. I'll just walk across to the other side because we really have to understand over here. We listed out all the projectiles right from Jammu and Kashmir to, of course, we're talking about Rajasthan and Punjab, Pathankot as well, Amritsar reeling under a blackout as we speak. But now these are the attacks that immediately India fired back on and attacked. You've got Gujranwala, Lahore, Sialkot that we broke right in the beginning. You've also got Attock right here. You've got Rawalpindi again of grave significance because Rawalpindi is also the home to the military, its headquarters, the establishment over there as well. So you've got Rawalpindi, Attock, Sheikhpura, Narwal, Umarkot, Chakwal, Ghotki, Chor and Karachi as well. So again, in the Bahawalpur area, that's again where India has struck. This is yesterday, Operation Sindoor's maximum strike range was 100 kilometers. We've gone, I think, a little bit beyond that as well. We're learning about Islamabad as well, but Karachi, Ghotki, Umarkot and Rawalpindi up top, Gujranwala, Lahore, Sialkot still close to us. We've constantly been attacking those areas. That's what we're talking about. Gujranwala, Lahore, Sialkot, Rawalpindi, Atok, Sheikhupura, Chakwal, Umarkot, Narwal, Gotki, Chhod. You also have Karachi over here. So these are corroborated information that we're bringing to our viewers right now after the attack by Pakistan, about 8:15 or so, defer another 15 minutes over there. But after that, the CDS, he was called upon by the defense minister. There was a proper meeting that took place with all the tri-forces chiefs as well. And that's when India retaliated back as well. Our guests, they're going to continue to be with us on the broadcast. In the meantime, my colleague Irfan Qureshi, he's filed in this report from Uri. Take a look at this report. This is the real-time report deferred by, let's say, about 10 minutes or so. Take a listen, understand what's really happening on the ground in Uri, because from Kupwara, Poonch, Rajouri, you've got heavy artillery firing that's coming from the other side. You've got these cheap drones that were, incorporated by the Pakistani military to, well, in another act of cowardice, threaten India, our locations, military sites as well. But now we are learning that on the other side there is artillery shelling as well. But Irfan Qureshi brings us this report. Take a listen.
उड़ी सेक्टर में इस समय हम मौजूद है और लगातार उड़ी सेक्टर में शेलिंग जो है वो हो रहा है और हम यहां पर उड़ी सेक्टर को लगातार कवर कर रहे हैं और आप देख सकते हैं जो यहां पर लोग मौजूद है वो अब शेलिंग की वजह से बाहर भाग रहे हैं अपने घरों से और जो आसपास के यहाँ शॉपकीपर्स वगैरह है और अंदर जो है अंडरग्राउंड जो यहाँ पर स्पेस है उसकी ओर जा रहे हैं और आप देख सकते हैं ये तमाम लोग जो है यहाँ शॉप्स में, होटल्स में और बाकी जगहों पर काम करते हैं। तमाम जो बिस्तर वगैरह सोने का सामान है वो लेते हुए यहाँ पर भागते हुए पहुँचे हैं और लगातार सरहदी इलाकों में नॉर्थ सेक्टर की बात करें खासतौर पर मैसिव शेलिंग जो है वो पाकिस्तान की तरफ से की जा रही है और इस मैसिव शेलिंग में टंगधार, करना, केरन और उड़ी सेक्टर कुपवाड़ा लगातार दहलते हुए दिख रहा है। टीवी 9 भारत वर्ष टीम लगातार इस इलाके में मौजूद है। लगातार जिस तरह पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जो बैक टू बैक ड्रोन अटैक्स जम्मू के कई इलाकों में, खासतौर पर जम्मू के एयरपोर्ट के आसपास, उधमपुर, अखनूर और वही पठानकोट तक लगातार अटैक किया जा रहा है, जिसे भारतीय सुरक्षा बल जो है लगातार नाकाम कर रहे हैं। और आज ये भी स्पष्ट किया गया आधिकारिक रूप से कि करीबन 15 ऐसी लोकेशंस है जहां पर पाकिस्तान ने ड्रोन से और मिसाइल से अटैक करने की कोशिश की तो उसे नाकाम किया गया है। लेकिन स्थिति गंभीर है लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल के इलाकों में और यहाँ फिलहाल लोग जो है वो सेफ्टी की ओर भाग रहे हैं। हालांकि प्रशासन की तरफ से, सुरक्षा बलों की तरफ से भी इस इलाके में काफी इवैक्यूएशन भी किया गया, जो कि खासतौर पर जीरो लाइन और रेड जोन इलाके के लोग थे। और इस्लामाबाद से लगातार टीवी 9 भारत वर्ष ने जिस तरह रिपोर्ट दिखाया उसके चलते वहां से भी लोगों को निकाला गया है, क्योंकि वहां पर काफी ऐसे मकान थे वो जो कि आग की चपेट में आए थे हैवी शेलिंग के बाद।
All right, so you saw that report being filed from the ground. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been a big day. Remember, ever since India launched Operation Sindoor, Pakistan was going to try a misadventure. It had become amply clear. Yesterday, what they tried was thwarted, and they tried it yet again today. We've struck at their terror infrastructure. We've told them we are going to do it again if you try and act smart. But clearly, Pakistan has not learned from any of its mistakes. Udhampur, Jammu, Akhnur, Pathankot, Arnia. These are the places which were attempted to be struck by Pakistan. There were a number of drone attacks all across the western border at several locations, the border that India shares with Pakistan, but every single one of them has been thwarted. Pakistan will live to regret the day when they tried to do this with India. What I can tell you, even as we speak, Home Minister Amit Shah is meeting the DG of CISF, of BSF, what is our security like at the border. All of that is being reviewed by the Home Minister. Earlier, there was a meeting that the Prime Minister held as well. 8 missiles from Pakistan that targeted India, and it is no coincidence the way in which this was done to Satwadi, Samba, Arispura, Arnia. These are all areas, Arnia, Arispura, Samba, which have seen ceasefire violations, but this time there was an attack or an attempted attack through drones all of which was foiled. And the way in which this was done, it was reminiscent of the way in which Hamas has tried to attack Israel time and again. The rocket barrage, the drone attacks, cheap rockets being fired at India, and they have met the only fate they can hope for, which is in failure. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, Lieutenant General Shivane, Air Marshal Diptendu Chaudhary, and we have Captain Alok Bansal all live with us. Gentlemen, thank you so much. You're keeping up at this late time at night. It's going to be Rat Jaga for all of us, I suppose, especially for our armed forces. A special word for all of our men in uniform in the Navy, Air Force and Army, and especially their families. Air Marshal Chaudhary, the way in which this was done, rocket clusters being fired at all the critical locations, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, focused on Jammu. What do you make of this modus operandi?
Frankly, Padmaja, this is nothing really original or, something spectacularly new. This is a playbook which has already been unfolded in Ukraine. It's been in the skies of Ukraine. It's happened over Israel. With Hamas carrying out attacks, Hezbollah carrying out attacks, rocket attacks, and as well as Iran carrying out the similar kind of attacks on Israel. So this is nothing new. Even Russia has carried out extensive missile and drone attack combinations. But there is a vast difference of the intensity of the attack and the accuracy and its outcomes. And that is what is important. What we are seeing are, copybook attacks, pretty unstructured, and what it appears to me, very frankly, it's more like I had mentioned earlier in the show, that these are attempts to create a continued sense of, try and create a sense of panic in India, try and saturate our air defense systems and keep it going, get us to expend our air defense weapon systems. In a manner so that we run out of anti-aircraft systems, weapons. So but I think our air defense organization and the way we are dealing with it this time, we have vast experience in war fighting and training for this, which we do this throughout the year. So what you will find is that these drones are being targeted, and somebody mentioned earlier, the S-400 is taking down drones. I think that's a little far-fetched because the S-400 is a long-range system. It is just a part of a larger integrated air defense system, and the S-400 is the longest player. It can fire at the largest distances. There are medium-range SAMs, there are short-range SAMs, there are close-in weapon systems, there are shoulder-fire systems, there are other ways of jamming, deceiving, and decoying the threats which seem to be coming en masse. And at some point, I think, Pakistan is also probably careful. It is expending this low-end systems to keep the whole system churning, and could well possibly be saving some of its high-end systems if the thing escalates. So I would like to bring in an iota of caution in all the excitement that's happening right now.
Absolutely. And in fact, the PRO defense in Jammu has made it very clear what exactly happened over the last few hours. I want to go across to Kabir very quickly so he can explain to us what are these areas. Look, there is a lot of misinformation that is being spread on social media, on WhatsApp. People are worried. They are calling each other. Everyone thinks that they are going to be bombed, that there are blackouts. But these are the exact areas where Pakistan attempted a misadventure. And let us underline again, defense sources have assured us, have told us that they were thwarted at every single step. The breaking news that we have right now, Jammu, Udhampur and Pathankot military stations were targeted and no damage was caused in the Pakistan attack. But can we please go back to the map so Kabir can quickly show to you what are these exact locations, and you do not have, nobody has need to panic because damage control has been done. Over to you, Kabir.
These are, of course, the locations that India has countered back at Padmaja at this point in time. You were talking about the PRO defense of Jammu. He says military stations in Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur were targeted by the Pakistani origin drones and missiles along the international border. The threats were swiftly neutralized. That's the breaking development that we're bringing to all our viewers. There was no damage that was caused in these Pakistani attacks. He also goes on to show, and this is a corroborated statement on their social media handles, the threats were swiftly neutralized using kinetic and non-kinetic capabilities in line with established SOPs. No casualties or material losses were reported. Yet again, there is another failure of the Pakistani military prowess. They come with their cheap drones, but they all went down one by one. India remains fully prepared to defend its sovereignty and ensure the safety of its people. So yet again, kudos to our brave men in uniform and women in uniform as well.
Absolutely. They're up at night. There is no need to worry. But Captain Alok Bansal, help me understand, where exactly does Pakistan think they're going to go with this? They tried it yesterday. They did not succeed. They paid the price for it. There were multiple strikes that India carried out across several locations, including in Bahawalpur, in Rawalpindi. A stadium was struck in Rawalpindi, the place where their general headquarters is. And now they've decided to make things worse for themselves. Where do they think they're going with this?
See, Pakistan army knows they don't have the military wherewithal or the economic wherewithal to take on India. But at the same time, their preponderance or their dominance of the body politic in Pakistan ensures that they have to show to their people that they're doing something. And that's why they are taking actions which people can see, firing missiles which overfly the audience, their public sees, firing artillery shells. But they don't have the caliber, and that's where they are probably hoping that the international community will come and intervene and bring it to a closure. And that's why they're either talking about nuclear offense or nuclear conflict, or at the other times they're targeting civilian population. Their whole purpose is that somehow India agrees for a ceasefire and stops this conflagration. So that is the problem. Pakistan army, while realizing their weakness, also cannot show in front of the public that they are not able to stand up, because they have always projected themselves as the savior of the nation, both ideological as well as territorial. And having created that sort of an aura and having garnered most of the country's resources, they find themselves in a predicament where they cannot be seen bucking down. So they have to project something. That's what they're trying to do.
All right, we've got a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Pakistan where they have said that the government of Pakistan categorically rejects the baseless and irresponsible allegations propagated by the Indian media accusing Pakistan of launching attacks on Pathankot, Jaisalmer and Srinagar. These claims are entirely unfounded, politically motivated and part of a reckless propaganda campaign aimed at maligning Pakistan. The repeated pattern of leveling accusations against Pakistan without any credible investigation reflects a deliberate strategy to manufacture a pretext. Okay, this is really strange. It's almost as if they are in complete denial. There have been at least 8 to 9 places across the western border. It beggars the imagination. I really want you to listen to this gentleman, General Shivane. Help me make sense of this. They're saying the repeated pattern of leveling accusations against Pakistan without any credible investigation reflects a strategy to manufacture a pretext for aggression and to further destabilize the region. Such actions not only further endanger regional peace but reveal a disturbing willingness to exploit misinformation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Pakistan seriously expecting the world to believe that this is and their favorite phrase, false flag operation? Just like Pahalgam was false flag, now they will call this also a false flag. General Shivane.
This is absolutely hilarious. It's certainly not professional. It shows the psyche in which Pakistan is being put on the back foot. And it is nothing new. This action and denial cycle is a traditional cycle which were earlier in the terror domain, also in Kargil, and today you see it manifest in Ops Sindhu. So to that extent, I think no one is going to take them seriously. What I want to highlight is the response 2.0 of Pakistan, which we saw today. We need to understand the character of this response. The character of this response is one that it has been launched not only in the line of control but also across the international border. Two, if the news is correct and the pilots have been captured, that means they have crossed both the line of control and the international border. Three, what are the means and what were the objective of this attack? The means have essentially been swarms and drones, which have been launched, which is a low-cost, saturation, high-density attacks which they have carried out on our military targets. Now, they need to understand that once we took on this strikes, the first strike that we launched post Pahalgam on the Pakistan terror camps, we were fully prepared. Our integrated defense, air defense system, which continues to have point AD, short range AD, medium range AD, and long range AD. All these are integrated with the command and control and radar systems, and given the depth of Pakistan, we can pick them up well in advance to foil the attempts. And that's what we have done. So we were fully prepared for this reception, and we have given them a befitting reply by neutralizing their threats. Now, coming on, that if we have foiled their attempts, we have now gone and hit them in their guts. We have gone and hit them in Sialkot, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and all this base. So what is the aim? First aim is to hit them hard in these bases from which they are launching their attacks, and also the aircrafts and missiles, and act as a deterrent. More importantly, we are now prepared for the next level of escalation by way of we are now trying to gain a superiority in the air domain, a favorable air situation. So if the next level of escalation comes, for which all our forces on ground, boots, tanks, tracks, everything is on ground with particular plans, with very focused agenda, and a very clear force application matrix.
And this particular statement is even more surprising given the fact that now we can tell you what sources have reliably told News 9 that there is a Pakistani pilot who is in our custody. How did this man come into Indian territory? You're saying we did absolutely nothing, but your gentleman pilot was in Jaisalmer. So Pakistan tried this, they got a bloody nose. You've got more information. Over to you, Kabir. What more do we know?
I mean, the last paragraph of that Foreign Ministry statement is the richest of them all. They say Pakistan remains vigilant and firmly committed to peace. When just a fortnight ago, you had Khwaja Asif, the defense minister of Pakistan, coming here and saying that for the last 30 years, for the last 3 decades, we've been doing the dirty work for the West, and that export as terror quite clearly out for everybody. Now, Pakistani pilot has been captured. That's what News 9 is telling to all our viewers at this point in time, and this is the latest information that we're tracking for our viewers, that these drones have been intercepted and the pilot has been captured. Pakistan attempting drone attacks along the western border. We showed you exactly where all, from Jammu and Kashmir right down to Punjab, then of course Barmer, and you had Jaisalmer in Rajasthan as well. But then again, these Pak drone attacks, they took place at multiple points on the western front. Again, what we pointed out and showed to you, and we've gone through with our counter attack over there as well. All of these Pak drones, mind you, all of these Pak drones, they were engaged by the Indian defense system. We just had Air Marshal Chaudhary tell us the long arm, the medium arm, and the small arm of it all. And whilst we're telling you about all of this, let's also tell you that one Pakistani pilot is in India's custody, and which is when Pakistan's foreign ministry has released that statement saying that this is all hoax, Pakistan did not attack. Clearly goes on to show that the Pakistani ministry, foreign ministry, and the army can't see each other eye to eye. There are no parlays that are happening over there. They're working in their different silos, and that's why they don't know what
actually,
the army is.
Kabir, it shows an attempt at obfuscation, because it is almost like Pakistan's familiar tactic. If we shut our eyes, then the world can't see us. It's almost as if they think that the world is blind to what is happening. But just in case that does happen, even as we speak, India's External Affairs Minister is dialing every world leader. He's spoken to Marco Rubio earlier. He is speaking to other heads of state, foreign ministers across countries, across the world. And the message is clear: we reserve the right to respond to this kind of unprovoked aggression. But Okay, so this map very, very significant. You've got an entirely empty airspace above Pakistan. They have shut their airspace and there is absolutely no movement there. But Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, the big story of the day is that you have a Pakistani pilot in your custody. What happens next? The Geneva Convention applies to him. What will India be doing next, in your experience?
Absolutely right, ma'am. The pilot is, first thing, of course, let's get his name and all. Nothing is wrong in getting his name. His name can be given. But once having confirmed the pilot is there, International Committee of Red Cross will approach Indian government and tell the government that the pilot is there. They will register the pilot in their register and make sure that he's become the POW. And from time to time, they'll keep visiting him. That is for sure, because India has ratified the Geneva Convention in 1961, they signed in 1951. Whatever the case may be, the pilot will be safe because Indian government, 93,000 soldiers were there. In fact, I had gone and seen General Niazi in Jabalpur. So absolutely the thing, we look after them very well, he'll be looked after. But question is, thereafter what? What are we thinking the war is going to be? We have all spelled out that yes, boots will be on the ground and all, which I have been saying it, that until you get the boots on the ground, nothing translates. Then war for? We will bomb everything of Pakistan, yet we will be keeping watching and then, so what? We have to now think of POK, take it